What's up, my friends in film fandom, wherever you may be and however you may be watching? Thank you so much for giving us a little bit of your time. The Marvel Cinematic Universe, I mean, we can debate whether it's back all the way or not. I just want progress out of these next couple of movies, to be honest. I think we kind of got it with this movie. It wasn't a bad gig at all. We are going to discuss all of that tonight with my kick-ass co-host, starting with my ever life, Jared. What's up, brother?
I don't know. That's all you get.
He's like, I don't know, man. I don't know.
I spent too much damn time finding all these pictures and shit. My brain's just fried. So if I start turning people into shadow people, I mean, just stop.
And the one person who doesn't mind when people get dusted, let's see, whenever I look at him, all I see is his faults. The Chef of Lone Star State.
Now is the time in our presentation for your 3D glasses. So get your 3D going. Oh my God! I just got off. So yeah, figured bring some cool 3D effect to the program. But hey, this is. If you've got any bad feelings from your childhood, if your daddy was ever mean to you, Frank, it's okay to cry because this movie's all about being a bitch. So you just go ahead and let all that shit out. My daddy was mean, or who fucking knows, whatever. It's all pussy shit these days. But we'll get into it.
I would have spent a good portion of this review trying to tell Tex exactly why that's a terrible take, but we're going to get to that here in just a second. We are obviously here. The MCU. Look, we had one MCU film all of last year. They were doing not a hard reset, but certainly they were kind of pulling everything back for a minute, taking a step back and trying to reevaluate where they were going. So the only movie we got in the Marvel Universe at all last year was Deadpool and Wolverine. And even that was more a finale of the Fox universe than having anything to do with the MCU that we've known. I mean, it's all going to connect eventually, but so this is the first real MCU movie we've gotten in a couple of years. And it's time to break it all down now. Of course, we're talking about Thunderbolts. It's the 2025 American superhero film based on the Marvel Comics featuring the Team Thunderbolts, produced by Marvel Studios, distributed by Walt Disney. It's the 36th film in the MCU. 36 films. And I think it was released on the 17th anniversary of the first Iron Man, which is amazing. Let's see, the film was directed by Jake Schreier, and it stars an ensemble cast featuring Florence Pugh, Sebastian Stan, Wyatt Russell, Olga Kurylenko, Louis Pullman, David Harbour, Hannah John-Kamen, and Julia Louis-Dreyfus. In the film, a group of antiheroes are caught in a deadly trap and forced to work together on a dangerous mission. Thunderbolts premiered on April 22nd of this year in London, England. It was released in the United States on May 2nd and is the final film of Phase 5 of the MCU. Thunderbolts received positive reviews from critics and has grossed $172.9 million worldwide against a budget of $180 million. That's just in the first week or so that's not bad. Becoming so far the 8th highest grossing film of the year. On Rotten Tomatoes, 88% of 280 critics give the film a positive review. The site's critics consensus review reads, quote, assembling a ragtag band of underdogs with Florence Pugh as their magnetic standout, Thunderbolts refreshingly goes back to the tried and true blueprint of the MCU's best adventures. A pretty decent review. They don't really go into much more than that, but a pretty decent review for the film. Let me go to you first, Jeremy. Give me your quick thoughts on the film before we get into the spoiler stuff.
I mean, I'm sorry. Are they some kind of a Suicide Squad?
Oh, you beat me to it. I was coming.
I don't know. I know we're gonna make that joke.
Clearly, you watched the pitch meeting before coming in today.
Well, I'm fairly certain as soon as this was dropped that's literally the joke we're just going to keep going with. I mean, Marvel just keeps thinking that DC wants to be them. I'm like, well, now the turn has tabled. So now you're doing
turntable that turn.
Yeah, there's the hands on the other foot now. So, but I mean, it was kind of a fun movie. It was interesting at getting to this point. I don't remember if I did all my homework, but sure, I think I know what's going on. I did enough to know that I loved it on the thumbnail that you like. Even I don't know if you intentionally did this, but you like Mike Wazowski Taskmaster and Master in the bottom. She's got the like spoiler review over her face because again she's about that relevant in the movie and in Black Widow. So
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
I think that's pretty damn funny. But no, it was kind of fun getting, we're all getting the gang together and fighting shadow demons. And I think Rachel leaned over to me and said, he looks like William Afton from Five Nights at Freddy's. And I was just like, oh my holy shit, he does. If you want to know what William Afton looks like later in the games, that's essentially what he looks like, is the Void. Just this nothingness outline of a person with like glowing eyes. It's kind of freaky. So, but he doesn't dust people. He kills kids and puts them in animatronic suits. But yeah, and for the
much more hope.
Totally different. I mean, well, no, to be fair, the Void did dust a kid, so I guess to be fair,
I was gonna bring that up too.
Halfway.
Well, we didn't know that. I was kind of like, I don't think that's really how that works, but it is kind of funny that like he read. I even love that they say like, "Oh, who's this old Santa?" I'm like, "Ha! Somebody watched his previous movie, didn't they?" Lols. But yeah, it's kind of an interesting movie. I think it's kind of just like a bridge to, I guess, what's to come. Because I mean, I'm kind of jumping to the end credit scene if you saw it or if you know what it is by now. Fuck it, I'll spoil it. It's the Fantastic Four, since apparently this movie had just hit the fucking theaters, and they're like, "All right, well, already we're gonna ruin the fucking joke. Now they're Avengers." I'm like, okay, I hadn't seen the movie yet. Jesus, I knew that was what the asterisk meant, but I'm like, well, you kind of
had a feeling.
Guys, bad marketing. Just leave it fucking be. Like, let people figure that out. Like, they changed the poster on. Like, I was on the website buying the tickets, and they already changed the poster to that. I'm like, well, it's a good thing I already knew that, because you would have ruined that for anyone else. And I'm like, you might turn people away with that. So I don't know. Because there's like 3 sets of Avengers right now or something. I don't know what's going on anymore.
I don't know. Tex, how about you? Give me your quick thoughts on the film.
Yeah, this is Thunderbolts in name only. Pretty much what Disney said. So, okay, well, Thunderbolts, that's a cool name. It's like the Suicide Squad, right? Let's take the name of it. Well, not even connect it to who it's supposed to be. The leader of the group, Baron Zemo, who's alive in this world, by the way, he's not in the movie. So we're just going to take the name and the concept of this one thing for Marvel. Hope that the comic book nerds don't notice. Throw in a bunch of characters and a couple of them that people actually care about. And let's make a 2.5-hour cry fest. There's your short review for me for this film. Very few little bright spots. Why was Sebastian Stan not the lead of this movie? Twice he should have been the lead of a Marvel thing, and he played second fiddle. John Walker's Captain America, by the way. Like I said, I've got my old man yelling at cloud moments. I hadn't been on here for a while, so I've had it built up, and I'm going to use it all on this one. Get your popcorn ready. So it's all good.
Can somebody get that clip of him constantly saying that Steve Rogers is Captain America? I think we're having here.
If it's not going to be Steve Rogers, John Walker's closer than anything.
There's a reason why it's never been anyone else.
Where was Captain America? This was in New York. He can sue, but he can't show up and help him. All of New York is being blacked out.
Hold on. That's part of the narrative problem with the MCU is like whenever in the solo movies, whenever shit pops off, they're like, why did they just call the Avengers? Because the Avengers would roll in there and this movie in 5 seconds there wouldn't be a movie. That's why. That's why we don't call it.
Yeah.
But
so many.
BJ's in the chat saying, is that Goldie Hawn's son? Yes, that is the son of Goldie Hawn and Kurt Russell.
Yes, that is Wyatt Russell. The best thing about this movie.
I always forget that. Hold on. Yeah. I got a badass shot of him. There you go. Like,
that's a good shot of him.
You know what? I will appreciate the fact that I'm like, okay, he fills out this suit a lot better.
Oh yeah.
And he did that. Like, I thought the bearded Chris Evans Captain America was the best. I'm like, no. This right here, okay.
Here's your Captain America right there.
Like, you don't look like a goofy fucking weirdo like who just went to Spirit Halloween the first time we saw him. Like, ooh, God, dude, that was rough.
God, that first time we saw him, Jesus Christ.
Yeah, I'm like, he looked like a complete twat, and I'm like, okay, no, this right here. Now he's filled it out. Okay, he looks more grizzled, and I'm okay with this. I'm like, this is more what he needs to be. Now, if he was still Captain America, I'm like, yeah, you'd still be Captain America if you didn't do the shit you did. You fit better as U.S. agent. That's the point.
John Walker did nothing wrong. But
he did, but okay. Because if he didn't, he would still be Captain America, and he's not.
Propaganda.
Yeah, whatever. But I think the movie's a lot better than
Steve Rogers would never.
Yeah, I think the movie's a lot better than what Tex thinks it is. Look, you got to remember what one of the things this movie needed to be was not as bad as most of what Marvel's put out since Endgame. You needed to show that the story was there, the creativity was there. It needs to be
that. The measuring stick now?
Yes, because everything Phase 1, 2, and 3, even the bad movies in Phase 1, 2, and 3 were good. And then you give us some shit like Doctor Strange and Multiverse of Madness had moments but didn't quite get there. I mean, so many of these movies, dude, come on, the Marvels. I mean, that was just bad.
That was bad.
I erased that from my timeline.
If you would have told me after watching something like Avengers: Age of Ultron, which it's just growing on people. At the time when it came out, a lot of people had problems with it. But it's like even now people look at it like, oh damn, we forgot how good that movie really was. If you would have said back then that they'd have given me something like The Marvels and told me some of the things that people would think of that movie, I'd be like, there's no fucking way. There's no way that Marvel's going to fall that far off the ledge. And then 8 or 9 years later, you watch it, you go, yep, they fell right off the fucking ledge. Just creativity right down the hill. The creativity is better in this one. These are different characters than what we're doing. I don't like the new Avengers thing. We'll talk about that a little bit more later. But I mean, for as far as narrative and storytelling and things like that, this really did get the MCU back on better footing. Does it have some holes? Yeah. I would have done a few things differently, but I left the theater really happy with what I got out of this movie. And even the mid-credit scene was kind of funny. I don't really like it when Marvel does the funny mid- and post-credit scenes. I think it's kind of a waste of time. But for that, I was like, okay, I'll give you that one because it was kind of funny. And then having a decent post-credit scene, which was actually pretty important. Actually, the longest post-credit scene. We'll talk about that here later on. That really kind of tells us what's coming next. Not that we didn't already know. But it went back to the post-credit scenes, giving us the idea of what's narratively coming in the larger MCU, which I thought was fantastic. But I think it's a much better movie than some people are giving it credit for. But it's at the end of the day, Marvel has to take steps back to the greatness that they once had. They can't just go like a bunch of bad movies and all of a sudden we're putting out Avengers level craziness, awesomeness again. You can't just turn it over overnight. Look, things don't fall apart overnight. They can't be rebuilt overnight. You have to take your steps back up and rebuild, much like sports teams rebuild. After 8 or 10 years of dominance, some guys retire, some guys leave. You got to build that core back up. This movie did a good job getting us back to feeling like we're going to be having a core of something again. Because we've got some craziness coming up. They're filming Doomsday now. Who the hell knows what that movie's going to bring? So I like the idea that everything they put forward this movie I thought was pretty decent. But let's talk first about the cast. I can't really knock anybody about the cast. I don't know. I'll go to you first, Tex. What do you think of the cast and who stood out to you the most?
Oh, it's Wyatt Russell by a long shot. Especially in the first part of this movie, he takes a fucking beating. And I'm not talking physically. The dialogue between Ghost and Yelena just constantly back and forth, and the shit that he's got to deal with in this movie. Jesus Christ, I would have told both of them to shut the hell up. But Wyatt Russell, what he brings in this movie for me is he's got you can see his dad on screen, like his charisma, he has it as well. And, like when they're trying to get out of the building or whatever, he's over knocking a hole in the wall. Are y'all done with your therapy session? And let's get this shit going. And, he's trying to get him out the door and everything else. I thought Wyatt Russell was the best thing in this film.
He does come from good stock. Remember that.
He's perfect for it. Yeah, he's got the aura about him to fulfill this kind of role. I mean, he's not a leader in any sense. He should be. Like I said, he would be if you're not going to bring back Steve Rogers, there's your Captain America. But he brings everything that you want out of a superhero role. And yeah, I know. Oh, he killed the terrorist. Or whatever. I see nothing wrong with what he did, making Captain America. But for this film, just by itself, you see the heart. He gets nagged on, like his horrible wife. He's sitting there watching the kid. You're not even watching him. You're on your phone. That one needs to shut up too. My Lord, we saw her for 2 seconds and she was absolutely a terrible woman. But Wyatt Russell, he brought you could see the heart and the conviction where he wanted to be the Captain America that he knows he truly is. And I thought he delivered tremendously in this film. He even had the funny parts, like whenever they're towards the end when Sentry had bent his shield over, he's like, maybe they could fix this shit too. And he's trying to like pull it apart and do the whole thing and whatever. I thought that was fun. So yeah, he was it for me.
No, Jeremy, how about you? What did you think of the cast overall, and who stood out to you the most?
I mean, this is gonna be a great use of this joke, but I'm always a Bucky stan. So
Bucky Stan. It's a good one.
Yeah, Sebastian Stan. Okay, whatever. Yeah, yeah. I'm always here for more of Bucky. I tried my damnedest to find some pictures of Bucky, but all I could really get was Congressman Bucky and then his little Terminator moment. But admittedly, that was a pretty badass like scene of him coming back and
best moment of the
taking out the convoy and he kind of did take out the limo, which rest in peace to the limo, which sucks. But yeah, I mean, you can't tell me that right there isn't like one of the coolest shots from this movie. So I don't know. I kind of wish there was a little more Bucky. I didn't know if he was going to be as.
He should have been the lead of this film.
No, I don't think he even wanted to do it. He doesn't even want to be a congressman either, so I don't really know what he's doing.
Sebastian Stan seemed like he was just taking a paycheck through this movie. I'll be real honest with you.
He might have been.
I mean, he's always good, but I didn't feel the heart from him. I don't know about you.
I don't think that Marvel, at least since Endgame, has really known what to do with his character.
That's what I'm saying.
He's always second fiddle to everybody.
Well, I know that there was the big debate after Steve Rogers steps down who takes the mantle, and
is it
narrative in the comic books it can go either way. I really didn't care. The bottom line is I wanted both these characters to continue forward strong. Anthony Mackie's character kind of has. Bucky is the one that it's like he should be a lead in some kind of a story like this. And I understood him being in Falcon and Winter Soldier as being there as kind of someone that was going to help Sam Wilson find his way. But it's like, and then he shows up in Captain America, the fucking new one, whatever the hell of World Orders,
about 3 seconds.
And I get it. I mean, it's like, I feel like he should have been around more in that movie as well. But it's like, in this, I'm like, I still feel like his character is playing second fiddle to the rest of the Thunderbolts group. And I'm like, he needs to be a bigger part of something. I just don't feel like they're using him correctly right now. Now, maybe they have bigger plans for him moving forward into Doomsday and Secret Wars and whatever. But I just feel like he's just popping into things right now so that they can keep Sebastian Stan around.
I thought maybe they were trying to have him be like trying to coordinate and pull strings, like being in the Congress. And when he was talking to Valentina's assistant, I was like, okay, maybe he's trying to like I said, trying to puppeteer some shit here to help them out and get things taken care of. But I don't know. He still does his best when he's out there, grabbing a Humvee by its cable and punching the fucking ground and flipping the bitch over. So
yeah, he's like the third most important person in this group of Thunderbolts, but he's got more real experience than any of them, like combined.
He's literally been there since the beginning of the MCU, in the film.
Well, I mean, bare minimum, he was there for the battle against Thanos at the end of
it.
Yeah.
So it's like that right there. That one instance gives him like 10 times more experience than anyone
He was
else.
there. He was there in World War II with Captain America. He's been around a long time. Okay, this dude should be more than a plot device to get you to Washington or to New York as a team. That's what he was used for in this movie. It's pitiful what they did with him.
Yeah, I don't.
That was a pretty great joke when he's talking to the assistant, and he was like, "Man, you were in high school when that happened." I was like 90.
I was 90.
Yeah. Like, right.
I do like the fact that they used him to play the espionage game, because I don't think any of the other characters in this movie have that kind of chops except for Elaine. But Elaine Dafon, whatever the hell her name is in the show. I still
no. I've already the first time I
saw
her, I'm
Elaine. She will forever be Elaine. That's who she is.
I turned into Han Solo the first time I heard Chewbacca's name, where I was like, "Yeah, we got to find you a nickname." Because I'm not saying that every time. So I shortened her down to Allegra D. Because I'm like, I caught half of her goddamn name right in the middle. I'm like, you're Allegra D because, like allergies, you're kind of just fucking annoying to me. I don't know. Like,
she was very annoying.
I think that's kind of her. That's kind of her purpose, though, to be the not a bad guy, but still kind of an antagonist. You know what I mean?
She's kind of the slimy like congresswoman or director of the CIA, whatever the hell she's doing anymore.
Yeah, for me overall, I really like all the cast. I mean, the roles they play are good. Like I said, I don't think they're using Bucky right. I like them all. Yeah. To me, the one that stands out, one of the big things, the questions that has been since Infinity War and Endgame is how do you replace someone like Black Widow, who has been one of the people that kind of held the Avengers, that kind of helped form the Avengers. I mean, she very low key was one of the people that, along with Sam Jackson's character, she's one of the ones that really kind of brought the whole thing together. And the Yelena character has been very good at kind of filling that void. She's got being her sister. She comes from the same kind of a background. There's a lot of the same emotional weight that she carries. There's a lot of the same great kind of dialogue she delivers. She really does fill the void that was left when Natasha died. Which was one of the things that I think is really, really important. And the fact I think she's gorgeous as hell. She's one of my celebrity crushes, I'm not going to lie.
Oh, no, she ain't bad to look at. I'm with you there.
I have noticed, though, after seeing her in a few things, as much as I like her in this role, it does not show how good of a real actress she is.
So she's got some chops, man.
Because I've seen her in other things, and I'm like, wow, she is so much more than Yelena. She's great as Yelena, but she's actually a very good actress. She's got, I mean, she definitely knows what she's doing in front of the camera, and I love what she does with the role. Other people, I mean, come on, is anybody other than Lewis Pullman like having a career like couple of years? I mean, between him and Paul Walter Hauser, who is apparently in every big movie coming up for the next 3 years, these two guys right now are absolutely killing it. They are getting some of the best roles. I expected more people to shit on the fact that his name was Bob in this movie, which is the same name that he has in Top Gun Maverick. He's such a lame character in that movie. They don't even give him a call sign. They're like, "What's your name, Bob? What's your call sign?" Bob. It's like he is so damn good at everything. I hope to see him and Paul Walter Paul Walter Hauser, I think his name is, the short fat guy. I want to see them do a team up movie at some point, because I really do feel like these guys right now are just the belle of the ball in Hollywood. They're getting some of the best roles. They're turning in some of the best performances. They're comedic. They're fantastic. I need to see these guys in a buddy cop movie. That has to happen right now. It's just so damn good.
Going back today, because like I said, today I went and saw this again because I forgot after I saw it a few days ago. I was paying more attention to other things as I was watching. Hey, there's two easily ways, or actually three, that you can tell where the reshoots are by the length and the style of beard and hair in this movie. Like Red Guardian, once they get to the Battle of New York, his beard line is like right here, and then it's like all the way up to the ear. It's like, oh, the sideburn just grew in magic. Where did those come from? Then if you look at Sentry's hair, it changes like 3 times within the film. And then Wyatt Russell's beard as well. You can see where like they tried to make it look thicker like it is in the beginning of the movie, but like, yep, that was a pickup, that was a reshoot. So, just a little editing timeline stuff they tried to blend in with movie magic, but I always find it funny to pick up on that kind of stuff.
Yeah, Rachel's with me. Team Bob all the way.
See, Bob annoyed me. He was the Sentry. Once again, I can't help my comic book nerd coming out here. Sentry is one of the. I mean, is it World War Hulk or Planet? I think it's World War Hulk, the comic book. The only reason he loses to Hulk in that movie is because he knows, like, if he goes full out, he's going to destroy the Earth. Like, and I'm sure we'll get into this more later, but I wasn't
he's
crazy.
Basically Superman, yeah.
Oh yeah, no, 100%, yeah.
I'm like, he's basically a freaking god, yeah.
Yeah, no.
Remember, this is not a direct telling of the Thunderbolts comics anyway. For one,
I know, but once again,
they were put together by
we're taking names and concepts, but we're doing it like that. Bugs me when they do this.
Well, I just meant like the Sentry character, period. I mean, like, yeah, he's basically like an omnipotent god. He could, I think at one point, like, because I was wondering, I was kind of reading some stuff and I saw like 3 different like mutants mentioned. I'm like, see, you're just sitting there fondling our balls and you're never doing it because you're never going to fucking do these mutants. I'm like, so many times Sentry has dealt with like, it was like Emma Frost, Weapon X, Rogue. I'm like, you're not going to do it, are you? Like, you just keep playing with me here. You're not going to bring it.
Disney will fuck it up. I'm sure they always
like,
do. I have no say.
Yeah. But the thing that there was like a time where because like there's a thing that I think they might be doing with like where Dr. Doom basically became god of like the fucking universe.
Yeah, that happened in Secret Wars. Yeah.
So I'm wondering if like that's what we're doing. I'm like, well, here's your one character that could actually toe to toe with Dr. Doom on that kind of level. I'm like, yeah, this is your god character that you probably need to have in your pocket for when that's probably what is
considering
coming next,
what they did to the Hulk in this universe, they completely cut him out with Mark Ruffalo, and they're
he went and had a kid and came back, and I was like, what? He's we still got Red Hulk locked up. I don't know. Well, let him loose.
And they have taken a lot of shit for that, though, as well. I mean, hardcore fans and casual fans.
I can't wait to get to talk about the ending of this movie and how it just so copies the end of Captain America 4. You know, I can't wait to get into that little section, but we'll get there.
But one of the things I noticed that Tech says that no one can be. What do you say about nobody has what it takes to be a leader or something like that? That's kind of the point. That's kind of the point of all this is they're not the Suicide Squad like necessarily. It's it's like none of these people want to be here necessarily. They just. I had a picture of Taskmaster.
I don't know.
I couldn't find one.
But it's really not one of these people is really built to be a leader, and I think they all know it. I mean, even in the post-credit scene, and we'll get into this in deeper tones later. But even in the post-credit scene, as they're sitting there having this conversation, all of it, it's like they're just sitting around the living room of your friend's house trying to decide if you want to fucking go play disc golf or just sit there and keep smoking weed. There was no, none of these guys. I mean, even because Yelena kind of takes control of the situation, but for the most part, none of these people know what they're doing because none of these people have ever seen themselves as leaders. I mean, Bucky was in the post-credit scene, but even he has never really seen himself as a leader. I mean, going all the way back to his first introduction to the MCU, he's just been that lone wolf going around doing things. He's never really been part of a team. Wyatt Russell he's broken. Red Guardian,
but was Tony Stark not broken as well? And he led. I mean,
you know what? Here's where I'm going to tell you why you're wrong about this whole movie being therapy thing.
Okay.
Because when you think about the Avengers that we've had through the first 3 phases, Stark, Captain America, on and on and on. Think about where these people come from. Yeah, they have their trials and tribulations along the way, but Tony Stark is a rich billionaire playboy philanthropist. Captain America, Steve Rogers. He's got his wits about him. He's not a broken man. He's a man out of time, but he's got that moral center which keeps him on the right path. Hawkeye, family man. He knows what he's fighting for. Natasha, focused, knows what she's doing. All these people.
Like Mark Ruffalo tried to kill himself when he was the Hulk. He tried to
even Banner for all the shit that happens whenever he turns green. He's still coming from a much better place than anybody on the Thunderbolts is coming from. They're all broken. I mean, that's one of the reasons why they focus on these guys for a scene. Like each of them in their chaos, their inner struggle. It's like we see Wyatt Russell. He's all the stuff that happened in Falcon and Winter Soldier. He's dealing with. He's dealing with being a new father, not having any place in the world. That's why he's getting into it with his wife. It's not just his wife being a bitch. It's just that he's going through some shit, and sometimes we don't always understand the shit that our spouse is going through. That leads to some animosity and some fights. Yelena, she even talks about it. She goes, "I don't know what I'm doing with my life. I go do a job, I go home, I drink, I get up, and I go do it again. I just think about the bad stuff." Bucky has always kind of struggled with that. Ghost, that's the one character I don't even know why she's in this fucking movie. She was like the
her only role in this movie is to bust Wyatt Russell's balls anytime he says anything.
She was the third most likable character in a film that nobody really liked in Ant-Man and the Wasp. So I was like, why is she even here? You have fucking Dreykov's daughter, one of the who actually has more of a history in this than Ghost does, because going all the way back to when she gets mentioned by Loki to try to fuck with the head of Black Widow during that whole interrogation scene in the Avengers. It's like, so even she has a background story that we know about. We saw it in Black Widow where she blows the place up, and we come to find out that Dreykov's daughter survived and he has turned her into Taskmaster. It's like all these people are broken. So you say it's therapy. That's kind of the point. These people are all trying to find not just their way together as a team, but their way through their struggles. And one of the things that did you watch the Punisher TV series with John Bernthal?
Oh, of course, yeah.
Tell me that show. Tell me he's not putting himself through therapy. A much more violent therapy that involves killing a lot of people. But tell me he's dealing with PTSD. He's dealing with all the shit that happens from some of the things that he's seen over the course of his life. These people are dealing with the same shit that he's dealing with. They're just doing it in a different setting. So you got to understand.
So once again, Marvel's borrowing something from another Marvel property.
You know what? Who fucking cares? They're borrowing from when the Marvel property was fucking killing it. This is why I don't understand why people bitch about Force Awakens. Oh, it was just a rehash of Star Wars: A New Hope. That movie's fucking awesome. It's like, hell yeah, I'm borrowing from that movie. That's the movie that reinvigorated sci-fi and gave us the entire Star Wars legacy of all this crazy shit that we've enjoyed for 40, 50 years. Why the hell wouldn't I go back to that well a little bit? Because I know that shit is well loved. So yeah,
to be fair, they gave Stan Lee a lot of crap too when he made Spider-Man. That not only that they made him a teenager, because they're like, well, heroes aren't teenagers; those are sidekicks. And then they're like, he's like, well, I'm going to give him like actual real world problems of like being in high school and dealing with life. And they're like, heroes don't have problems. I'm like, well, you'd think, but like. And they all called him fucking crazy for that. And who's, one of the biggest like IPs in comics is Spider-Man. Like, it worked out in the end. Like, dude, giving him the balance of trying to deal with crap in life and then also be a superhero, just even in New York City.
Comic books, period, have ripped each other off for 80 years.
Right.
I mean,
I'm not saying they don't.
So why am I worried? Why am I worried? Why would I even care about Marvel ripping off their own movie from 8 years ago? That worked 8 years ago. They were killing it. Now they're on a bit of a downslide. They need to find their way back to the top. I'll admit that. But I mean, why not go if you have something that works? Why not do what works?
But see, here's the problem. For I would say a good bit of people, this movie does not work. They spend so. You could cut 30 minutes out of this movie of just jabbering back and forth and have a decent film. But the majority of this superhero action film is crying, going back, talking, yada, yada, back and forth. Whereas something like the Punisher series, where you've got 9 hours to, okay, we're going to flesh this out for one episode. Then the next 2, Punisher's going to go after the bad guys. You've got 2.5 hours, 2 hours, whatever it is. Not 9 like you do in a series. And they spend the majority of this film, including the ending of this movie, with emotional horseshit. And like I said, let's not forget that god-awful Captain America movie we just got. How did that one wrap up? Marvel is, I don't know what they're doing. Is therapy the new superpower that's in the MCU? I don't know what's going on. But to me, this is awful. I don't go to a superhero film like this to talk about what makes me sad and my daddy was mean or my wife's a bitch or whatever.
So what are you going
characters have depth and actually be like actual fucking human beings.
That's what I'm saying. Is that you can't just look. This isn't 1984 anymore. You can't just have a lot of explosions and bad guys shooting people that he walks out of the sunset.
No, you can have heart to a story, but there's a way you do it. They did not do it in this movie, is what I'm saying.
How did they not do it? They broke down. One of the things I really liked about when they go into the void or wherever the hell, what do they call them? Fuck, I forget what it's called.
It was called the void.
No, the shame rooms. That's where they've been referred to
Yeah.
as the shame rooms.
Oh, yeah.
They go into these shame rooms. You're experiencing why all these people are broken and making them want to face their own shit so that they can fix themselves. This is kind of, I mean, you can call it therapy all you want, but I mean, look, even Tony Stark
did that with
shit. Part of Tony Stark's character arc happened a big, like the whole Demon in a Bottle storyline in the comics. That's one of the things that kind of drove the second movie, is that Tony thinks that he's dying because of the palladium that he's using to power his chess piece, and so he has to deal with that. So yeah, he's broken in that moment, finds his way back. Is it therapy when he's talking to Rhodey? Is it therapy when he's talking to Sam Jackson? Is it therapy when he's going through all this stuff? It's the journey. It's part of the journey of
okay, but if the ending.
It's not 1984 when Arnold Schwarzenegger can just go out there and be like, "Give me my daughter," shoot a bunch of fucking people, then he walks off with his daughter on his shoulder.
But see, herein lies the problem, and I know I'm jumping ahead, but I'm going to talk about it anyway because it's relevant to the conversation. Once again, with the last two Marvel films, you included two of the most powerful characters in the Marvel world with Red Hulk and Sentry, and the problem is, you did not include characters on the good side to fight them that are on an equal or greater than scale. So therefore, you automatically have to do something. Because it's not, I mean, we saw Sentry didn't even blink an eye whenever multiple super soldiers came at him. He's like, why would I fight them when I know I'm above them? Like, even they pointed out in the movie, the minute he says that line, the stakes are gone. You know that they have changed the game completely, and none of this is going to matter, because if he just wants to just snap his fingers like a Thanos, he can. But with Thanos, you had an Asgardian, you had a Hulk, you had an Iron Man, you had things that could fight this. The stakes of this film mean nothing once you get to the final battle, and I think it takes away from it.
I don't think the stakes of the film change.
It's the same stupid argument of like,
honestly,
it's the fucking Superman argument. Yeah, he's a god, so why the fuck does it matter? I'm like, yeah, but who fucking cares? Like, it doesn't mean anything, because he can just fucking flick his pinky out and fucking explode the entire Earth in 1 second if he wanted to.
The difference between him and Thanos is that Thanos is a single-minded purpose. This guy actually has that, to use a Jedi parlance.
This guy has no purpose.
There's a part of him.
I don't think he even knew what he was really doing. Like, yeah, he just was like, oh, I have these powers. So he's like, okay, so now what? It's like, I mean, yeah, at least with like Superman, he was raised to be the good guy, to be, someone who's truth, justice, in the American way. I'm like, Sentry's just kind of like, here's your godlike powers, and he's kind of just like figuring it out as he goes. Like, yeah.
Rachel says it right. People want to connect with characters nowadays. I love the movie Commando with Arnold Schwarzenegger. I think it's an classic. But I mean,
I think I would agree with that, but that's always been, you can connect to a character without the way they did in this film. One thing I'll say, I think this is probably the one thing you said earlier, Frank, about this. This is kind of the top of the shit pile of what Marvel's been recently, and I would agree with that. There's a good movie in here. I just don't think they knew what they were doing when they did it. I've got issues with this.
I also think one thing you got to remember is they're rebuilding the MCU right now. Like, I used the analogy earlier about how sports teams are good for a long time, and then all of a sudden guys retire, guys leave through free agency, whatever, and they have to start over again. That's what the MCU's been doing. They haven't been doing a great job of it so far. A lot of that was Bob Chapek kind of keeping everything fucked up. But now that the creators have control again, they're rebuilding a new version of the MCU that can continue it on farther. I think that's one of the things you got to remember, because like I said, Falcon and whatever the hell, I cannot remember the damn name of that last Captain America movie. It's so bad. But that was the last one that Bob Chapek had kind of put together. But so all the pencil pushing dickhead Ivy League dickheads that have never made a movie before made that movie. This one was back to being made by creatives, and they're trying to rebuild the storylines of the MCU that are going to last for a long time, as opposed to just being like, hey, let's go try to make a movie that's going to make us $1 billion.
Man, you got to have these characters. You got to have the characters that have depth. You got to care about them. They can't just be a one like stereotype, one-dimensional fucking like punchline. That's all it is. It's like, no, you got to have some depth. I know what Frank was going to say. Like, we're talking about
not doing what they did here,
Then how do you do that?
Yeah, how? How do you create depth without showing why these people are broken?
Number one, we can eliminate characters we don't give a shit about, like Taskmaster.
We did.
Well, they did. 3 minutes she was in this.
That's what I'm saying. You can't eliminate someone who's in the movie for 3 minutes. You can't say that person needs to be eliminated. That person was never really there.
Which was funny.
You just said earlier, you don't even know why Ghost is even in this movie. True. So let's eliminate that completely out of the way. Let's focus. Let's highlight the positives and get rid of the negatives. What was positive in this movie? Winter Soldier and his story within this movie. I would have loved to have seen more of his process of working behind the scenes, of pulling the strings, of going to this, going to that, than just showing up and then being a second tier character. They could have highlighted more with Wyatt Russell. When you've got Wyatt Russell on your crew, you don't just cut his balls off every time he says something, because that's what they did in this movie. He was the ass out of every joke.
That's what we did. I think that was a meta joke, because after they first introduced him in the TV show, everybody, like, immediately Twitter was like, Walmart Captain America, Wish.com.
Well, for them to go.
So they were spitting the same jokes at him that we were in real life.
The line that really stands out is whenever him and Bob first meet, when they're in that locked room, and Yelena goes over, what was the line about small guns, or it was a reference to the small dick, basically. Like the emasculating your strongest character, your male characters. It happened so much in this movie, it pulled me out of it. It's just I could have made a better edit of this film and had it done better. Like I said, I just don't like how they put this movie.
Well, okay, let's say you eliminate Taskmaster. It was only in the movie she had literally had one line. I'm not here for you, and then she takes one in the forehead.
Right.
Let's say you eliminate Ghost, who they didn't even. Did they even really show her shade room?
No, I don't think so.
Yeah, so they don't even really explore what the hell.
I think the closest we got with her was when they're in the limo and she talks about how she had to make her suit just to keep her body from tearing apart. I think that's the closest you got.
Yeah, so let's say
I was going to say, I'm like, did she even really help? Because I'm like, every time she tried to help, I mean,
no, she does nothing.
The little Sonic thing to like stop her powers. Yeah. I'm like, so what is the point of her? Because she can't even seem to help.
Right.
I already thought of that. Yeah.
Right.
But I mean, it's like, I say you eliminate them. Okay, you still have Yelena that has to go through her shit. You still have Bucky who's going through his shit. You still have Bob going through his shit. You still have Red Guardian who's got his own emotional shit. It's still part of the growth of this team that they have to deal with their individual shit. So you can cut out one or two of them, but the rest of them still have to go through it because that's part of the story. You
could have restructured Red Guardian and Yelena's stuff together, considering father-daughter, all that shit. You could compress a little bit more. Like I said, I think you could have edited out about 30 minutes of this movie and got a better product than what they gave us. But, I know I'm in the 20% of people that don't like this, so that's fine.
But say 88% on Rotten Tomatoes, so you're in the 12%.
Or the 12, whatever. I know I'm right, so that's all that really matters to me. It's all good. So I know everybody else is wrong, so it's all good.
But now that we've beaten the hell the cast to death, let's talk about the plot for just a second. The plot of the movie is obviously they're gonna do whatever for Elaine DeFontaine. Don't forget the day because she gets pissed.
Yeah, don't forget the day or she'll. Yeah.
Marvel did with this, I think, what they ended up doing with the first Thor movie, which is one of the reasons why I think the Thor movies are probably the least well done of all the first three phases of Marvel. I think this movie really was kind of a bridge to what's coming. Kind of a reminder. We need to introduce some of these characters. We need to bring Red Guardian back because he's popular. Everybody loved him. Yelena, everybody loves her.
Oh,
he's a big character. They finally figure out a way to make Wyatt Russell's character work. Ghost is still here. They just want people to know. They're going into Doomsday. They're going into Fantastic Four. They needed some place to put a post-credit scene for Fantastic Four. Jeremy, I'll go to you first. What do you think of the plot of the film? Did it work for you? Is there anything you would have changed?
Yeah, I guess it works. Like I said, I I still am struggling to understand Ghost's character because, like I said, they already like took care of her by having the Sonic shit to stop her. I'm like, well, they already thought of everything with her. So, although they didn't think past like, here we're gonna put an external power source in the same room. I'm like, okay, that wasn't very smart, but okay, sure, whatever. They got to get out because this movie would have been over in about 10 minutes if that wasn't in there.
Was
like
super easy. Barely
yeah, I'm like, boy, that was lucky that I just happened to be in there. But I like the, it's obviously like none of them trust each other. I mean, they were all sent there to kill each other, to be fair. And they slowly have to build up that, like, I think every character even says it at some point, like, Ghost takes off to go do her thing, and then they're like, is she coming back? And then they send John Walker up there to take care of the first wave of soldiers coming in, and they're like, where's he at? Like, they all think they're just going to abandon each other and stab each other in the back, which, to be fair, is a pretty fair assessment. But I don't know. I know when I was looking up characters for this, and I found again one picture of Allegra D's assistant. Everyone's like freaking the fuck out, like, oh, there's someone else, there's an eighth one, there's another one. It's like, who the fuck is she? Apparently she's Songbird. Maybe there's another superhero in this.
Songbird
supposed to be.
Isn't that an X-Man?
I don't know.
I don't know. Well, Mel wears
so.
like a bird necklace that's visible at many points in the film.
I'm pretty sure. Yeah, I mean, I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure she's a mutant, one of the X.
Well, if it is, again, there's them just.
And she may end up
and not doing it,
turning into a mutant. Who the hell knows? I really don't know how they're going to do.
I was wondering if that is supposed to be the thing, because I was like, again, if we can just do a trade here, you can have Ghost, and we'll take her, because Jesus, she probably has more to do in this than she does. Mel rather than Ghost, but yeah, it kind of works, and I like the. I mean, yeah, I know I said I was a Sebastian Stan, but the guy that played, I know, I'm gonna keep that joke going.
He's gotta have a fan club out there on some Facebook group called that. Like that has.
Well, hey, they finally brought Winter Soldier to Fortnite, and that's who I use. And you'd be happy because I actually gave him a black and red Captain America shield on his back. He deserves it.
Yeah.
He deserves it.
Yeah. He deserves it.
It's pretty slick. Where was I going? Oh, with Sentry. It's like, okay, this is cool. And that guy, his performance is just on point. I loved it. Having this duality of like this guy who is, just a broken dude, ended up being like a drug addict, and kind of had the same. Oh hell! I feel like there's something where I've seen this before, like where he like takes a chance, like, here, we're gonna go to this, sketchy, maybe it's kind of like Deadpool, like, I'm gonna go to this sketchy medical thing, and I'm like, all of a sudden gonna come out on the other side, but the problem is his good and bad side are gonna manifest into something polar opposite, which is kind of horrifying. That basically, like I said, you made this guy into a god, either good or bad. So it's like you do have like that duality of, like, we've seen it with Superman, like, we've seen the good Superman, but we've also seen Superman go bad and turn the world inside out.
Yeah, so. His name is Homeland. We've seen it
pretty much. So yeah, we've seen that before. So it's pretty cool. I'm wondering, if this is we're trying to get our footing here again with something, like you said, we're trying to get something laid out, because if we're gonna continue on with this, and my only, if we'll talk about the end credit scenes later, but because my next point was going to go to that. But it was kind of fun. I wonder what we're going to do with Bob here, because like this guy needs to kind of rein his shit in a little bit.
Yeah, I am concerned with what Marvel's doing by bringing in these like way OP characters.
Well, if you already said Doctor Doom, like, you guys understand how OP Doctor Doom is, right?
And not even that. Did you watch was it Secret Wars on Disney Plus?
Oh,
Like,
that chick character, the Super Scroll. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like
No.
she now not only is a scroll.
Oh,
but
you
now
mean she has like every
Yeah.
Avengers power?
and
Or
she
some
has
shit?
the power of every Avenger, and I'm like,
No, but she's
now
on the
I
moon.
stopped.
They don't.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I think
so
I
now
stopped
I'm-
right
That's
before
all
that even
Marvel.
happened. I
yeah.
stopped
So
before
now
that
all of a
happened, so I don't
sudden
know
you
what's
got
going
this. You got somebody who has literally the power of all the Avengers, and yeah, she might be on your side technically, but it's like, how do you compete with that? Oh, we just don't mention her again. And now it's the same thing with Sentry. It's like now we've got this person who's got the god codes for the video games, and he's running them. It's like, how do you use him without killing all the Avengers and just having him walk up to Thanos, bitch slap him, and say, "Give me that fucking gauntlet"? It's like, how do you handle these characters? That's one of the hard things about dealing with the long comic book storylines, and
True.
especially in movies, is eventually you build up the bad guys to be so strong that you're like, we can't make them any stronger. It's like, Thanos had a magic glove that helped him snap away half the universe. And then now we've got this guy who could just like flick his fingers and people turn to ash, which is almost kind of the same thing, only if you do it one at a time. But it's like, how do you keep them realistic but make them a new threat without just having them? Because it's like fucking what are they doing with Galactus is coming in?
Yeah,
it's like Galactus is literally the size of a huge planet. How do the Avengers beat this guy? We got to figure out some way to kind of
they do it with
make them even.
3 knockoff Captain America is Marvel.
To be fair, I'm like, there is an anime I know that's been going on for like the last 30 plus years that continually somehow keeps making Goku stronger and stronger and stronger and stronger. I'm like, Jesus Christ, this guy is a god, and we can't keep pushing the boundaries. All we're gonna do is keep changing his fucking hair color.
You beat the most
level. Like,
you beat the most powerful being in the world by making him cry and just giving him a hug. Everything's fine.
To be fair, that's
it's
why
okay.
you have the
blah,
problem of
it's fine. So, it's all good.
Yeah, I don't understand. Yeah, I don't know if there was any way to not walk into that kind of corny ending. I was like, because I get it. Yeah. If the message is to deal with
do the same thing with the Hulk, though. Like, sun's getting real low there, buddy. You need to calm your shit.
Okay, but do it one time with Hulk. Fine, that's cool. I can justify it. Do it with the second Hulk. Now I'm starting to get pissed off. Do it the very next movie. Yeah, we've got issues. And that's my biggest issue. And
the thing
not
is,
just
though,
that.
Hulk, he did learn to control it, though. I think that's the point. It's like maybe like Bob.
Right,
that's what I'm saying. I hope Bob gets his shit together and he can control it fully, because all he did was like pop a glass of water, and they're like, "Yeah, great, you're Sentry. Go get him, champ." I'm like,
okay, but in the last movie, we saw the president Hulk out, and they locked him up in the island thing in the middle of the ocean. We just saw a dude who's he can literally just blip you and you're a black shadow of yourself. And he gets like, we're not locking up this guy which obviously you can't. But you see the point I'm getting to. Like, the math ain't mathing,
I think he needs to be like their Godzilla, where they're like, okay, you can go void out now. Take care of this guy. Just
Sentry is is strictly the nuclear option. When all else has failed, you call that guy. Because that guy might just kill all of us.
They did make a kill switch for him, so it's not to say that they couldn't, which is the most MacGuffin shit ever. But I mean,
you saw how well the kill switch worked. You just pissed him off.
Yeah, I'm about to say fat lot of good it did. I'm not going to lie. and if there's one thing that really kind of disappointed me about this movie, and here's where the old man in me is going to come out. I'm going to bitch about something from forever ago. As soon as I saw this, I swear to God, one of the first things I saw was Nuclear Man from Superman: The Quest for Peace, like in my head.
Yeah,
I was kind of like, I think I've seen this movie before, and it didn't work out very well.
To be fair, though, Nuclear Man did like that. That Superman movie was made prior to Sentry being developed in comics, so maybe that influenced it.
Well,
I don't know.
But the problem is Nuclear Man was a disaster. A lot of people think that Superman 4 killed superhero movies for like 15 years. Because like they had plans to bring Batman to the big screen a lot sooner, and I think they wanted to do a Spider-Man movie a lot sooner, but that movie bricked so bad that they were like, "Yeah, we're just going to put these away for a while," and we ended up not getting Batman.
Superman 4 is the one with Richard Pryor, correct? Or is that
that's 3? 3 was actually still pretty good.
I couldn't remember.
4
I
was
stopped watching after 2 because after that they went to garbage.
3 is not good. It's not great, but it's not as bad as some people say it is.
No.
It's actually it's not bad. 4 was just awful. I think the only reason Christopher Reeves made it because there was some contractual shit going on. Blah blah. No, there was whatever. He wanted to write and direct and star, and they were like, no. So he kind of wasn't.
Richard Donner didn't do 3 and 4, right? He didn't come back.
He only did 1. He only did 1.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. He only did the 1. I thought. Yeah. No.
Yeah, he was gonna come back for 2, but then some crazy shit happened. They'd actually filmed.
Yeah, there was legal stuff happening.
Well, there was creative stuff that went on between him and who were the guys that owned it at the time? I forget. But anyway, yeah, there was a lot of creative shit going back and forth. So he ended up not coming back to finish the second one. But when I first saw this, I was like, God, this has got some Nuclear Man vibes. I'm not sure how this is going to work. I would have, I agree that there are some things narratively I would have changed. Like when Tech says you could have cut 30 minutes out of this movie, I think they should have rearranged it to where they spent another 30 minutes kind of watching his growth. Because I do agree that when Jeremy said, he's like, okay, he made the top pop off some bottle. Okay, you're ready now. It's like, come on, guys. Because maybe they didn't realize, or maybe they had forgotten that one of the things that people hated about the Star Wars prequels is that 1 minute Padme is like, nah, Anakin, I can't date you, and then literally 3 seconds later she's madly in love with him, frolicking through the hills, and there was no real explanation. There was no seeing that relationship grow, and it was kind of jarring. I think that's kind of what they do with some of these guys. It's like, hey, how are we going to explain that he has powers? Oh, he's just going to pop a fucking top off a can, and then all of a sudden...
It was super easy. Barely an inconvenience.
Yeah.
And that's where we're at. So show some growth. I mean, you want me to like this character. It's like, I dig how Lewis Pullman played him and all that, but let me see some of his growth. It would just be like he got captured, he made a bottle of water explode, now he's a superhero. Here, put on this stupid gold suit. Now it's like, come on, show me some.
We didn't even get like an 80s montage with a cool song of them practicing. That could have been cool in this movie.
Yeah.
But
little eye
I mean, what are you gonna do? You're gonna have
if you put Eye of the Tiger in this movie with him like wearing some like knee-high socks running up a mountain, then you've got my support.
Let's be honest, though, if you put Eye of the Tiger in any montage, it's going to
okay. But to me, there's two things that really would have changed this movie. The beauty of making a anti-hero Suicide Squad kind of movie is you can kill the characters. That's the whole point. And even in the first Suicide Squad movie, they only killed Slipknot. Everybody else was safe. Now, the second Suicide Squad movie, they dusted a whole entire crew of people and brought in a new one. They should have raised the stakes in this film, not just have Taskmaster and Ghost kill each other when they're meeting in that deal or whatever. Really raise the stakes. And the second thing, all of those people that Sentry voided out, don't have him kill as many as he did, but they stayed dead. Think of how much the stakes, especially that girl, that Red Guardian stakes. Mm-hmm. How much deeper of a character would he be on the screen if you know he can just blip somebody out anytime he wants? That to me would have raised the stakes and made this movie much better, because we know, he can be a good guy, but he can also be the worst. You completely nerf the whole meaning behind him. They didn't really die. They just went to a different universe. Same thing with this whole multiverse nonsense. Same premise. It takes the stakes away.
Yeah, one thing that also kind of burned me about this is they pulled something that the Fast and Furious franchise does a lot. It's like somebody who you know is a bad guy is suddenly made a good guy. He's part of the team, part of the family.
Oh, yeah.
Have we forgotten
movie? Yeah.
Have we forgotten that Red Guardian was a Russian spy who blew up a fucking American laboratory and was hates America? And when you see him in this movie, he's got Russian propaganda everywhere. He's watching the May Day parade from 1980.
Oh, he's a commie.
But without even trying, he's now an Avenger, standing in the streets of New York, one of the most American cities there can be. And now he's just one of the. I'm like, come on, dude, really?
The mid-credit scene, he was in Hopper mode, because that's why the beard and the hair is there. He only has the mustache, so that's why he looks like that at the end of the movie. I'm interested to see if he goes back.
Season.
I think I read somewhere that he had that scene was done in reshoots when he was actually.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, like that had to have been done while he was doing season 5 of Stranger Things, because he's straight up Hopper looking in that scene.
Yeah, I know that there was a lot of dual filming going on. I think I read that he was filming both this and season 5 of Stranger Things for a while. So yeah, but you know, for the plot, look, I get it. I mean, you got to I don't know what they're going to do with Sentry going forward. He's too OP to be a good guy. I mean, because once the Avengers get in trouble, they can be like, okay, dude, come in here and turn all black with your glowing eyes and snap these guys off. You just be like, dust, no more movie. So I don't know how he's gonna be a part of anything moving forward without. You know, I just don't
say it was. I mean, is Galactus gonna walk up in there and he's gonna be like, "I have your plan," and Yelena's gonna be like, "Yeah, but we have a Sentry. Go get him, Bob." Like, you know.
I mean, yeah, I don't think like Superman has a
kryptonite. But that's assuming that Galactus is gonna make it through Fantastic Four, which I'm not entirely sure he's going to.
Probably not, because if you're still telling me you're
my guess would be
like, you're gonna be too crowded if you got the two of them.
My guess is Galactus doesn't make it out of Fantastic Four. That's kind of
which kind of sucks.
I'm gonna disagree with that. I think Galactus eats that world, and that's why we see the ship.
I'll explain why I think that once we talk about the post-credit scene. I think that post-credit scene is what tells you that he doesn't make it out of Fantastic Four. But yeah, I mean, the plot, I mean, look, I get it. The new bad guy, you got to introduce somebody. They got to have somebody to fight. May as well be Sentry. I don't understand why they felt so big on Sentry, considering he's a really, really new character. I think his character only appeared in the comic books in like 2000s. So his character's only about 20-some years old, as opposed to some of these other guys they could have gone to. I mean, whatever. I mean, I like Lewis Pullman. You could have put him in as anything; it would have been fantastic. But I mean, I just don't know what you do with him going forward. It's like I didn't ask myself these questions about the bad guys or the guys they had to fight. Like I never asked myself where Obadiah Stane was going to fit into the rest of the MCU, or whether he could have or not after the first Iron Man. And some, you know, even Red Skull, I was just kind of like, they're good for the
they wasted Red Skull.
They're good for this. They're good for the solo movie for Captain America. But I mean, do you want these guys in further movies? But those guys are infinitely weaker than Sentry, who, he's got the potential to be a Thanos level bad guy. How do you introduce him and then explain why he's not there for the bigger shit that's happening? I just don't really get it. You know, that's my knock on it. Is I would have underpowered him a little bit and maybe said that because I don't know if you noticed or not. I don't know if you caught this or not, but in the comic books it says he has the power of 1,000,000 exploding suns. Yeah. In this movie, when they make that reference, it's only 1,000 exploding suns. So I think that even suddenly they were trying to downplay his power. Well, they were trying to nerf him a bit, like in our minds, so that we wouldn't think he was all that powerful. But the reality is he is. All he has to do is get pissed.
I
don't think the entire city.
I don't think he realizes though. It's like I said, all he did was like break a glass of water, and then Allegra's like, "Yep, cool, gotcha."
Yeah.
Because like I said, he was kind of confused, and he was figuring it out as he was going along. He's like, yeah, why am I listening to you? Like, why do I have to take orders from you or any of these other people? I'm like, oh, shit, there he goes, the God complex. And now he's going to, he's going to just rip you all apart. I'm like, oh, boy, here we go.
So, yeah, let's,
yeah.
No, go ahead, real quick.
I was just going to say, it's like I said earlier, you can't fight a Sentry with 3 knockoff Captain Americas and a Black Widow clone. That's never going to work. But good luck. So figure it out.
But let's take a minute now. I mean, let's all bitch about it because I know we're all going to. the new Avengers. We finally figured out what the asterisk meant. They're the new Avengers.
Are they?
I am not with this right now, to be absolutely
honest.
Are they? Tex, I'm probably going to agree with you on this one, where I think we're all three.
Well,
so go ahead and give me your thoughts on the new Avengers, Tex.
No, I'm with you guys on that.
I mean, I find it kind of ironic how fake Captain America is suing the fake Avengers for the name Avengers. Like, well, let's not forget the guy that couldn't get a bank loan 2 movies ago is now suing because he's got the money. Apparently, his financial situation got better. No. I mean, you're telling me Tony Stark didn't trademark the name Avengers and that Pepper? Well, like, where's Pepper Potts been? Like, shouldn't we see her at some point in time be like, actually, Stark Tech owns that or something, whatever. But no, they're not the Avengers. It's just like I said, they're 3 knockoff Captain Americas and a Black Widow club is what they are. Like, these people are not going to be the Avengers. I would venture to say most of these characters will probably die within the next 2 Avenger films anyways. This is not the new Avengers. Now, in the comics, you have like West Coast Avengers, Young Avengers. They're doing that thing with it, but this is not an Avengers team. This is, hell, half of them are side characters nobody cares about, but whatever.
No. Jeremy, why do you hate the idea of the new Avengers?
Well, because as I stated somewhere earlier in this video, I was like, there's like 3 sets of Avengers going on. I'm like, I thought we were doing Young Avengers because we had Billy and Tommy from Wanda. We have like Kate Bishop. We have what's her nuts?
Kamala Khan, Miss Marvel.
Yeah, Kamala Khan, Riri Williams. You got fucking there's another one I can't remember her name.
Oh, you got the fucking Ant Girl, fucking Ant-Man's daughter.
Oh yeah, Cassie Lang.
Cassie Lang.
Yeah, Cassie Lang was who I was forgetting. So I'm like, okay, are we doing that? And I thought these guys were be like the Dark Avengers, like maybe. I'm like, okay, just keep the Thunderbolts, I guess. Just
you can't do Dark Avengers without Norman Osborn and Wolverine's son. But once again, I'm going comic book narrative.
No, I know. I'm just saying. I thought maybe that was the route we could go, but now we're just. I mean, I know it's just Allegra D's thing of like, hey, look, Avengers, because I'm trying to save my image and not get sacked. I'm like, okay, so way to play on the name. But then, yeah, like I said, now we have from the last movie, they're like, hey, Sam Wilson, you should start the Avengers again. I'm like, wait, how many times? What? He doesn't. That's what I was going to agree with Texas. I'm like, this guy has wanted nothing to fucking do with this ever since he got the damn shield. And now suddenly he's pissed because like they're like, oh, well, we're the Avengers. I'm like, you didn't have the wherewithal to fucking step up, so now you're going to get pissed and claim it that you own the trademark to it. I'm like, do you? And that's the same thing I'll say. I'm like, well, he must have got that fucking loan finally because somehow you're now going to sue these.
Couldn't afford to live, but he can hire attorneys for a name he doesn't even own. But that's fine. Okay, whatever. Dude.
That's what I mean. Is I'm like, I don't think he even wanted to do that, like to start up these. I don't know.
I don't remember because this movie was rather unmemorable. But at the end of the last Captain America movie with Sam Wilson, did he even say he was going to put them back together?
No,
because I know that Ross asked him.
Don't remember.
And then Ross the movie happens, and then I think that when all that shit pops off and Lumley tries to kill Ross and all that shit goes on, that pretty much killed the idea of reforming the Avengers, and the entire body of that movie is about him trying to figure out how they got Carl Lumley to do what he did. They find out it was the whole mind control thing, and then there's not really any talk about reforming the Avengers. I feel like, and again, I've only saw this movie like once in theaters. It's like,
well,
I didn't go back out to see it. I don't remember if towards the end of the movie, if Sam Wilson said, okay, I'm going to go ahead and restart the Avengers or whatever. I don't remember him saying
see,
the movie.
But here's the problem though. They state in this movie, this is 14 months after the last Captain America movie. And Bucky was
after that. Yeah.
He was a junior congressman or senator, whatever he is, in that movie. But in this movie, Elaine says he's halfway through his first term. So somebody's not getting with somebody for this timeline here. Like, they're not, like, somebody start sharing homework and be like, hey, we're all, making one concurrent story. We need to figure these things out because this is how these problems happen.
Well, I think this does take place a little bit after Captain America.
If he got elected shortly after, when he pops up in Captain America, he
said he was running, right?
He's congressman elect. I think
he was a junior congressman because they said junior. I clearly remember that. So he was new.
And they said he was like a freshman congressman.
Yeah,
in this.
14 months depending on what district he's in because. different districts have different lengths of terms and all that. So 14 months would be about half of a term, maybe roundabout, depending on where. Actually, I think I was watching a video a couple of days ago, in the district that he supposedly, assuming that he represents his home district of Brooklyn.
He represents Brooklyn.
That's actually Hakeem, in real life. It's actually Hakeem Jeffries' district, the guy who's the House Speaker, the Democrat minority leader. So 14 months sounds like about half a term, roughly, depending. And remember, I think there's still something like 4 or 5 years in the future from our time. So who the hell knows?
I don't know.
Well, and then it's like 14 months later, we finally see that mid-credit scene. I'm like, so more time has even passed since the stuff we saw happen. So you're talking, this might be a year or two later, past or maybe even like longer than that, past Captain America, the one we have with Red Hulk. So I don't know.
When Elaine De Allegra De Fontaine, whatever the hell her name is, when she is in her testimony early in the movie, does she say how long? Because she mentions what happened with Ross. Did she say how long ago it was? Because I think she may have just said she said we just watched the president turn into a giant.
Yeah, I don't think she says a time in that. She just says we just saw her. The last thing we saw was that. Yeah. That whole speech.
But then again,
which, by the way,
we're trying to make
that whole scene was just a rip-off of Tony Stark's Congress scene from Iron Man 2, where he's like, no, I won't give you my take. Oh, I need those screens. That whole scene screamed of that whenever I saw that, by the way. But, seemed like a callback.
Actually, the whole thing was modeled after Tulsi Gabbard's testimony when Trump made her.
I wondered that too with the hair.
They even dressed her in a similar suit, which I was just like, why?
Yeah, they're doing like, Tulsi Gabbard.
Why are you trying so hard to do it to make a Tulsi Gabbard? Whatever. I don't know. I don't know. But let's talk about that post-credit scene. Well, let's talk first about the mid-credit scene. It was funny. We've already kind of talked about it a little bit. The whole thing with the Wheaties box.
We keep beating us over the head with the Wheaties box shit. I'm like, okay, I get it.
I'm hoping that's where the joke ends, but it was still funny to see. If that's where the joke was going to culminate, I was okay with it. I don't know, Tex, what do you think of the funny mid-credit scene?
Sure.
Red Guardian, he was annoying as hell. He's always been annoying as hell. Loud. I just don't like that guy. I did not like the whole we're building the Wheaties box with the little toy. Like, okay, fuck you, dude. Get out of here. Like, I add that to the pile of Marvel post-credit scenes that mean nothing, will never go anywhere, and it was just I wonder how much Wheaties paid to be the cereal that got mentioned in this movie. They gave him a good little check. But that mid-credit scene you can add that to the pile of mid-credit scenes that they'll never remember. That's where that one's going
to go. I don't know. Jeremy, what do you think about the funny mid-credit scene?
I don't know why you're hating on the cheerleader of this whole fucking squad. This man is ready to throw down at a moment's notice.
I would have.
I mean, he is the
I would
hype
send
man.
his commie ass back home. We don't need him. Get out of here.
He's a super soldier. I'd love to see that happen, but okay. Or he's some sort of weird. You ask Bucky, like, what kind did you get? He's like, I don't know, the regular kind. And he said he had some weird, like, Soviet version of it or something.
Soviet knockoff or something.
Yeah, so who even knows what his? I don't know. We don't really see him do anything.
Right.
He's just
they just put a lot of vodka in his arteries and we're just like, we'll see how that works. Right. Look, I thought it was funny. I hope that's the culmination of the whole Wheaties box joke. I don't want this to be something that drags out for the next 2 or 3 movies. Now, I would imagine that once we get to Doomsday, if we're in one of those kind of lighthearted scenes where the crew is trying to figure each other out before they go fight the big bad, that he pulls out he'll pull a box and corner out of the thing, and then he's like pouring and looking at like holding the box up like pouring like. Like that scene in Wayne's World where they're whole like Doritos.
Hell, we'll never bow to a corporate sponsor.
Now,
if it's a scene
I'm sure that they're selling those Wheaties, but like I should have went to Walmart or wherever before I did this to look. Surely they're going to sell those boxes because that's a perfect opportunity to make some money right there, right?
Marketing.
Oh yeah, that's great marketing.
Right. Well, I mean, if you're going to have it in the movie, it needs to be on the grocery store shelf to. Make a little bit of money.
I'm pretty sure that's the other picture I had of Yelena when that look on her face when she's explaining the Wheaties box. I'm like, what the fuck are you on about, dude? She's like, this is not the time to be doing this.
Front of the Wheaties box with the little toy. Fuck. Let me get out of here.
That's what I was looking at him like, dude, really? We're talking about Wheaties right now? The fuck?
Just don't drink out of the Gatorade jug in his car. You don't want to do that, by the way.
Don't
stay away from
the big gulp. The big gulp.
Or the big gulp. Yeah, stay away from the big
big
gulp. Yeah. Stay away from the big gulp. Yeah.
As somebody who works out of a truck and is around a lot of places all day
I got a piss jug. Every man with a truck has a piss jug in his truck. I keep one in the back just in case. You never know.
There's a reason why I buy a couple of Gatorades every morning when I first leave the house. I know I'm going to need at least one of those bottles. Just the way it goes. When you're a hardworking man, it's the way it goes.
Right.
But, now let's talk about the big post-credit scene. And wow, now look,
You're welcome for me finding that picture. I tried my damn best.
That is a good picture, by the way. I'm very happy that you found it. But I mean, let's be honest. We all knew what's coming after this, but how are they going to be introduced? How do we get an indication as to how they're going to come into the 616 universe from whatever universe we find out that they're in? I thought it was pretty interesting at a lot of levels. It sets up a lot of tension between the new Avengers. I still don't want to call them that, and the standard Avengers that Sam Wilson is trying to build. We find out that they're not getting some of the intelligence stuff that the other Avengers team is getting, so they're trying to operate as kind of the B team. But it also sets up how we see Fantastic Four kind of come into the 616. I'll go to you first, Tex. What do you think of the big post credit scene?
Well, I mean, as far as the whole, okay, who were the old Avengers? Where's Doctor Strange, Hulk, Thor? He's still alive. Like, where are these people? We haven't seen them in so long. Is there even an old Avengers? Like, I don't. So, do you really need new?
Charlize Theron. So, do you really blame him?
Okay, well, it's been so long, dude. These MCU films, most of them are garbage, and I delete most of the memories after whatever. But like, to me, the showing of the Fantastic Four ship, obviously, I know you're showing me that because you want to get me excited for the next movie, which is what a post-credit scene should do. But it's just like the whole couple weeks ago when they did the whole chair thing to show the cast for who's in Avengers Doomsday. They showed everybody from Thunderbolts except for Taskmaster's name. Like, everybody else was there, so you know who was going to die and who wasn't. Like, to me, I wouldn't have had that in there. Maybe instead of showing the ship coming into our world, show like 10 seconds of the Fantastic Four opening movie or something. Do something with that. I don't know, play with it, but showing how they come here, kind of putting the cart before the horse. I would have done that differently, but they're just trying to get people excited to go see a Fantastic Four in a few weeks or whatever.
Fantastic Four comes out in July, so we got a couple of months.
Is it July? Okay, it's going to be a little while.
We're looking at Doomsday.
A couple months, actually. Yeah.
Doomsday.
Doomsday is probably not coming out till like fucking next year. I'm sure.
Yeah, I was thinking about it. The Tex was talking about that terrible thing that Disney did with the whole chair stuff.
Oh, that was awful.
That was weird, man.
From what
like 6 hours long, dude.
From what I've heard, that's not the end of the cast. They just haven't.
Oh no, it's not. No, I've seen the list of a lot of other names that didn't get released because contracts weren't signed at the time.
Well, I think a lot of it also is okay. So the premise is it's going to be set 14 months after the events of Thunderbolts, which would be right when we're seeing the post-credit scene. And the Avengers, Wakandans, Fantastic Four, New Avengers, and the original X-Men team up to face Doctor Doom. That's the premise. Yeah. And the cast is about 17 pages long on Wikipedia, so whatever. Let's see. Additional actors slated to reprise their MCU roles. Jeremy Renner apparently is in it. Benedict Cumberbatch, they say, is in it. Tom Holland is probably going to be in it. Haley Atwell may be in it. You can't have a movie. You can no longer have an MCU movie without Benedict Wong. I'm just saying it now.
True. We love Wong.
Wongers has to be in everything.
That's right. The last time we saw Doctor Strange, he had that terrible CGI third eye. That looked like it was from like 1995, Mac Windows or something like that.
But I'm pretty sure that they're going to announce more casting for that movie. Look, I don't know, Jeremy, what do you think of the post-credit scene?
I thought that was kind of interesting. It's like some time has passed, and it seems like they, have these snazzy little Avengers suits. Although, there's a working title with the name, I guess. But I was wondering if so I'm assuming like since they're in this apparent legal battle with Sam Wilson, I'm like, okay, so are we not like working together? Because I'm like, you could have your so-called 2.0 version of Avengers. I'm like, these guys could be like your shadow Avengers. Like this is your shadow off. Like, you can do the things that other people aren't willing to do. You know what I mean? Because these guys will do it. Like, I don't know. You could do that. But it is kind of cool to like. I was like, I saw the ship. I thought, oh shit, yeah, there's a Fantastic Four, which I'm like, I kind of figured was gonna happen because I'm like, I knew there's gonna be some interdimensional shit going on because they obviously live in a different type of world that's more like how the comics is, that like futuristic, like retro 60s look. I'm like, right, but they're gonna come here, right? I'm pretty sure. If you got Galactus who's gonna swallow their whole fucking world,
them come here.
I think if they're gonna lose their fucking planet, it's like, yeah, they're gonna dip out. And I mean, I don't know what they plan on doing because maybe you don't. I don't know if you get rid of Galactus in that sense because I'm like, maybe he just swallows the world. And
you can't get rid of Galactus. He's too big of a character.
Well, yeah, but then what are you gonna do with Doom? Like, you're gonna be really crowded here having both. Like, and we got about 45. We got about 45 people in this damn movie to begin with. Apparently, we got
right.
all the X-Men.
But that's a whole nother problem.
Yeah, so I don't know how you balance that.
Yeah, here's one of the things I noticed
without this movie being like 4 hours long. Like,
yeah, here's one of the things I noticed about the post-credit scene. The big stuff about Fantastic Four. I mean, the whole friction between this Avengers and those Avengers, whatever. I mean, that's going to play itself out later on. But I noticed that when the rocket comes out of space, they come out of a weird rift, not unlike the one that we saw at the end of the Marvels that she's got uses to her powers to like
that grid pattern. Yeah.
So I noticed they came out of a rift like that. So that tells me a couple of things. Number one, and I think most people have kind of assumed that this is what was going to happen. Fantastic Four is not going to end with Fantastic Four in their world. They're going to come to the 616.
Yeah. That
also makes me think that Galactus is going to stay in that reality, in that universe, and not come to the 616. But I don't necessarily think that means Galactus is going to be done. I think one of the things that they're going to do with this movie is they're going to introduce the idea of Galactus. And after we're done fucking with Doomsday, I've heard whispers that they still want to try to fuck around with Kang a little bit, but I don't really think it's going to happen.
I don't think we're doing that.
Why? They beat him every time we saw him. He's not a credible villain anymore.
I know, but
they couldn't even give him that. They gave him like a line of dialogue like off camera and Loki, like, yeah, we took care of it. I'm like, okay, yeah, I believe you, I guess.
There's still whispers. I don't think they're going to do it, but there's still whispers. I don't know what they're going to do after this yet. I don't know if they entirely know yet. I know it's going to be X-Men heavy, so it could be.
They should have Robert Downey Jr. play all those different versions of Kang.
We could.
So it could be one dude playing another dude, playing another dude, playing another dude.
Yeah, that'd be kind of awesome, wouldn't it? He's got to do blackface in one of them, though, to make it work.
I know.
Of course. Yeah, that's the whole point. Yeah, that's the whole point. That's why you do that.
But while
they asked that question, they're like, if you ever wanted to make Iron Man black, who would play him? And everyone's like, Robert Downey Jr. And they showed Tropic Thunder. I'm like, yeah, he's perfect for it.
But I do.
He can play Rhodey and Iron Man. He's got both.
I do think, however, that while Galactus is probably not going to follow the Fantastic Four through that portal into the 616 universe,
that'd be wild.
I do think that he will eventually find his way. Like, whatever happens at the end of the Fantastic Four, he's going to see them go through that rift, and Galactus is going to be like, what the fuck is that? And he's going to be like, are there more worlds for me to eat? Have I eaten all these worlds that now I need to go to another dimension or another reality to find more? And that's going to lead to Galactus eventually finding his way into the 616. And then the larger Avengers are going to have to deal with him rather than just the Fantastic Four. Which makes me wonder how the Fantastic Four is going to end, because a lot of people are thinking that it's not going to end well. that their world is going to die, that Galactus is going to eat their world, and they escape to the 616 at the last second because that's movie logic. That's how it's all going to happen to get them to 616.
If you're building up that Doom, who basically becomes like god of like all these fucking worlds, I'm like, he might be your key to like getting him there to continue his little rampage. Like, that could be what it is.
Yeah, I'm also wondering, since the Fantastic Four is going to take place in a different universe, world, reality, whatever you want to call it. God, some of this shit gets so convoluted. But what Doctor Doom are we getting? Are we getting a Doctor Doom that is based in the 616? Or are we getting a Doctor Doom that is based in, I want to say that they are in Earth 10001 or whatever the hell it is.
The same one that...
Well,
no.
Now, correct me if I'm wrong. We haven't seen Latveria within the 616, right?
I thought we were suggesting that with Moon Knight.
Somebody mentioned it it was in Moon Knight. Moon Knight actually has a couple scenes. Yeah.
They say
Latveria. Yeah. And I think
so
in this movie, doesn't somebody mention Latveria? Was it this movie?
So.
I'm pretty sure it was this
I didn't hear it.
Or maybe it was the Captain America movie that somebody mentioned Latveria. I forget.
Well, my point is,
it was a Moon Knight for sure.
I remember nothing about Moon Knight. I don't even think I finished Moon Knight, to be honest with you. But I mean, we can't get Doctor Doom. Like Doctor Doom, if they want to do like a villain movie, do a solo origin just for Doctor Doom. That would be a huge movie. And Doctor Doom's one of the biggest Marvel characters ever. I'd love to see a properly done Doctor Doom, but that's not going to happen. I still don't even like that RDJ. I guarantee I know what it's going to be. I've read the comic book. It's in a world where
Tony Stark does become Doom.
Where Tony Stark and Doctor Doom grew up together, and they swap bodies, and it's a whole thing. I guarantee that's what it's going to be. Doctor Doom deserves his own actor, not just another Iron Man clone, but whatever. We can have nice things. But I mean, as far as that goes with Doom and Galactus, they wasted Red Skull. Red Skull is a big villain. I mean, he was Captain America's main bad guy for forever. So they did fine with Thanos. Don't waste Doom and Galactus. That is two huge characters. They can have him be like locked in that world that they come from. I'm fine with that. But we still need to have him out there as a looming threat for the next few phases. Because if we know that guy is coming, that still leaves presence status.
We start, because remember, we mentioned shit like with the Celestials. I'm like, right, are you going to start doing shit like Galactus? Because I'm like, I've been wanting to see that. I'm like, I want this big motherfucker to walk up to the Earth. Just, that's it. So,
right. Yeah, I mean, and once again, this is another movie that didn't. Oh, there's a gigantic Celestial sticking out of the goddamn ocean that nobody.
Well, at least they finally mentioned it. Jesus.
Yeah.
Right. Well, it only took them what 6 years or so.
And you whisper that word in my ear. There you go, fondle me again. Like, hey, look, it's adamantium. I'm like, is it?
Right. Yeah.
Until I see Hugh Jackman come out of there. I mean, I don't care.
Yeah.
I'm looking at the Marvel release calendar. The next thing coming out in June, the Ironheart TV series comes out. I'll probably try it. Sony's got something coming out in June, and on June 27th. It doesn't say what it is. I don't know that that's accurate. I would imagine by now we know what that is. Fantastic Four comes out in July. Let's see. Eyes of Wakanda, the animated thing, comes out in August. Marvel Zombies in October. Wonder Man comes out in December.
Are we doing Marvel Zombies? Hold on, back up.
Yes, Marvel Zombies, October 2025, an animated series.
Marvel Zombies is the only thing out of any of that I will watch.
That's why I said, wait, back up. I'm like, are we actually doing this? Because you teased me.
I don't care about Wonder Man, Ironheart, none of that.
Then Wonder Man, which I think Wonder Man's going to be a movie. It comes out in December. And then later in 2025, Spider-Man Beyond the Spider-Verse and Spider Noir are both supposed to come out this year. Spider-Woman is supposed to come out this year.
If you do Spider Noir, you have to make it Nicolas Cage. I'm just saying.
It is.
I think he is.
It's got him listed. It's got him listed as the star. Starring Nicolas Cage.
That I'll watch just for Nicolas Cage.
It's
God, I
going to
would
be
love to
on.
see
It's
that.
going to be on Prime at its first upper presentation this week.
So it's not going to be MCU. It's going to be the Sony version, basically.
It's going to be Sony, yeah. Then
Oh,
Spider
boy.
Woman, which I don't know if that's actually going to happen or not. It's supposed to come out later this year. Season 2 of X-Men '97 comes out. Armor
Nice.
Wars is supposed to come out. It says to be determined sometime in 2025.
That's been supposed to come out forever.
Well, they
that's supposed to have been
originally
out.
developed it as a series, and then they changed their mind and said they're going to make it a feature film. So I would imagine that date's going to move. I don't think it's coming out this year. And then the next thing they have listed is May of 2026.
See, I don't believe any of that.
Spider-Man 4.
I think all of that could get
Shang-Chi
canceled
comes out
within a
next year.
second, just based off of we know that after Avengers, not Doomsday, but Secret Wars, we know that all of this is going to get refigured. And just for the fact that, I mean, hell, Ironheart was done like 2 years ago. They're just going to drop that, just say here, just to get it out of the way. Armor Wars, I wouldn't hold my breath. Most of this other MCU proper stuff, I think all of that could, I mean, like Marvel Zombies, the Wakanda, that's going to be small stuff that doesn't really matter in the long term. Once Secret Wars comes out, I think they do soft reboot, and I think a lot of that may never come to light, if I had to guess.
Some of this might never. That's my guess.
Yeah. Right.
Let's see. But let's move on to a little bit of trivia now. I did manage to find a little bit for this movie, despite the fact it's so new. Let's see. I wish I could have found a good spot of the explosion from the trailer, but I couldn't. The shot of the lab Yelena blew up was an actual charged explosion set off on the floor of a building. There was no CGI in that shot.
Oh, shit.
That's
awesome.
Dude, anytime you can blow up a building, that's cool.
I like how she's just walking out of there with that hamster. It's like, yeah, it's done. She just acting like it's just another day. You know?
Not cool.
It did kind of remind me a little bit in Terminator 2 when they blow up the Cinedyne building or whatever the hell it is.
Yeah,
that was all. They actually blew up a building in LA for that scene as well. So it kind of reminded me a little bit of that, which I thought was really cool.
Actually, that scene reminded me more of Joker in The Dark Knight, where he's walking out.
I was going to say Joker. Yeah.
Let's see. I need another picture of Yelena here.
I had like two. Sorry.
Really?
I like this one
There's
better.
many great ass shots.
Let's see.
Show, and I wouldn't be a
Violet McGraw, who plays young Yelena, is the same actress who played the young Yelena in the Black Widow movie in 2001. I love a little symmetry.
Wait, in what year? You mean 2021?
Yeah, 2021.
You said 2001. I'm like, I don't think we were that far back, my guy.
Yeah, I misspoke.
Yeah,
Jesus.
and that movie is why Scarlett Johansson probably won't ever be seen in the MCU ever again. They fucked her around.
Or because she died, but okay.
Well, you know how little that means in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. They can just open another universe. Oh, here's one. So that's super easy, barely an inconvenience, right, guys? Yeah, it's all good.
You know, this actually answers a question that I had posed earlier. In Captain America: Brave New World, President Ross asked Sam Wilson to restart the Avengers, but Sam never gives a definitive answer if he will. In the post-credit scene of this film, it is revealed that Sam indeed has started his own group of Avengers and is starting to sue Valentina's new Avengers.
Well, movie or it didn't happen because I didn't see it.
Yeah. So if the president gave him the order or asked him to do it, then that would mean it's a governmental organization now. So wouldn't the government have to sue? Okay, I'm asking dumb questions now. I know, but the whole thing's retarded.
I think you're trying to think logically about a movie about people who can fly and are gods.
I am. I know.
And I get it because I do it too. I get it.
No, they're not. Remember, she's like, so what? We just punch and shoot stuff?
Right. And once again, when she says that line, I'm like, you just took so many stakes out of this. Because, we just punch and shoot. They're like, okay, well, you're useless. Go find me a Asgardian and a Hulk.
If they're
so do most of the Suicide Squad.
If they are, If they are used right in the MCU, I have no problem because I really like the Defenders, the shit that Netflix did with Daredevil and Iron Fist and all that.
Yeah,
I really like the ground
I
level
did
shit
not
they
like
dealt
the
with.
Defenders.
I liked the ground level shit that they dealt with. I thought it was good for what they are. None of them.
I love the Daredevil
All they do
show.
is punch and shoot, so I was okay with that. So
Oh, yeah, but we're
as
gonna
long
sit
as
here
they
and-
give the Thunderbolts an appropriate villain to fight against, I think it'll all be fine. I think that there is no way in hell that they should have beaten this Void guy. he was
No, they had to-
stuck.
well, with
Had
the
to give him a
original,
hug.
with
just
the original
hug, guys.
Avengers, I'm like, you just have
Black Widow, who she's
Well,
just a
I
cool
think-
spy who can shoot stuff. I'm like, yeah, against Thor, Captain America, like she doesn't belong here, but I mean,
Neither
Yeah,
does
so
Hawkeye. He's
I think
Yeah,
one of the
it's
reasons,
Hawkeye.
I think one of the reasons why you give this movie an ending the way you did, it's like we're gonna beat the bad guy by hugging him, is because you know damn well that none of these people can throw hands at this guy. So you have to have a different out because it can't just be
But he
like
can't
we all
even
get
just
together
destroy
and
the
throw.
Void.
We can all just get together and punch him. It can't be that simple. He's too strong for that. That's why I say if you give them a bad guy adequate for them, it's gonna be great. But it's like these guys can't go fight Thanos. It's just not gonna fucking happen.
well.
I mean, Thanos
Okay.
took apart Hulk in like 3 seconds. How is any of these people all together at their best day gonna fight
He
a
took out Loki,
threat level
too.
like that? Yeah,
Here's how they
Thanos
could
took
have
out Loki.
keep the ending exactly the same. All of the not Suicide Squad or handcuffed to the wall and whatever. And instead of them rushing up to hug him and the just sissy little nonsense, his whole thing was he didn't have any. He had nobody in his corner, right? For all of you that want character and everybody has to do this. This whole film, Yelena has been building the relationship. He's been working with him, this and that. To prove the good side of Sentry taking over the Void. Don't have them come up because Sentry's the only one strong enough to take out the Void in this movie, the bad within himself. So as he's just beating the tar out of him, have him actually do it and defeat it. That could have been, that would have been a better ending than, it's hug time at daycare.
Well, he can't,
everybody
though.
gets a
point.
trophy. It would have been better if they would have done that. There's comic book
Well,
stamps
then
for
he's
that,
already
and
at
that's what
god
I
level
would-
power. Then there's no point anymore. Again,
Right, but
like,
he's fighting the bad side of himself, and that would show how much stronger. Because he even says, "I'm stronger than you." So they're differentiating. That could have worked, and they should have done it that way.
I was like, you just had
Instead,
to,
we
you
get
had to
hug
Hulk him
times.
down, like,
I agree because that's kind of, I don't know if you guys watched Picard on. I don't know if you guys are Star Trek fans or not.
No, I don't
at
do
the end
no,
of
I like Star Wars. Sorry.
at the end of Picard, when for those of you who know, there's Data and then there's his brother Lore. When Lore takes over Data, his programming takes over Data. They end up in Data's positronic mind, and Laura's just like, "I'm gonna beat you. You can't stop me." And then eventually, what Data does is he goes, "Okay, you're right. Here's all of me," and he's giving him representations of all of the memories that he has collected over the course of Next Generation, the whole thing. And what he's doing is he is essentially connecting him and Lore enough to where he can take Lore over again, and he's kind of tricking him and
Right.
without throwing punches. If they had done something like that where Bob comes face to face with Dark Side Bob, and
Right.
and there is some kind of a thing there where he says, "Hey, that I realize that I am as strong as you. I just have to approach things differently." And rather than throwing punches, he's just
And
like,
that-
he does like
that
the
would-
screw with
that
the
would have been a
Matrix,
great
just
ending.
handed him and
That would-
sucks him in.
I would have been fine.
That would have
with
made more sense. That would have made a lot
Yeah.
more sense than the whole.
that. Instead of
That,
hug time at daycare, whatever.
didn't they do that with Vision? Like when they had the two Visions go at each other?
Kind of,
And
yeah,
then-
kind of.
Yeah, they had him
I
like
don't remember.
giving him his like memories and shit, and then now it's like, okay, well, since he's not a real Vision,
Well,
they gave it to the White Vision, and now he's also, where the hell did he go? We still don't know where he went.
He's getting his. Apparently, him and James Spader are both going to be in the Vision Quest series. James Spader is coming back to Ultron.
Ultron or whatever.
That's what I've heard. Exactly how it's going to
boy.
work, I don't know. That's supposed to come out in about a year. So who the hell knows how that's going to turn out? Hopefully, awesome.
Well, okay.
But I made this my my tagline for a reason: justice for Taskmaster. I cannot understand how.
No, Number one,
Taskmaster is
that's
a
not
better
even real
character than
Taskmaster.
Ghost.
Taskmaster's a dude.
Yeah, I know. Whatever. I don't even care about that. All I know is there's a history for this character in the MCU that gets shit on in the first 5 minutes of her arrival. But Olga Kurylenko's name is included in the main credits, despite her only appearing in one scene and having only one line.
And one bullet to the dome.
And one bullet to the forehead. Yeah, that would have been a much better character to carry through this movie than Ghost. I
would have had her.
I like the Ghost character. The Ghost character has a lot of potential. I can see the Ghost character maybe getting a Disney Plus show, but I cannot see. But you see, that's like, I don't want to say lower tier because I don't want to shit on the character. That's something I think more appropriate for what that character is. You know what I mean? It's like I like the show Miss Marvel. I thought was a lot of fun. It was way better than I thought it should have been. But I don't see her throwing hands again with Thanos or with Galactus or with even some of the other baddies like the fucking Frost guys from Thor or some shit like that. I don't even see her going against those guys. I feel like if you made it a very ground level show with her, about 7 or 8 episodes, where she's trying to do whatever and make it kind of a sub thing to whatever to the larger universe, that would have worked a lot better than to have her trying to fight somebody like fucking Sentinel.
See, but there's a problem with Marvel. This show is a spinoff of that show. This one's a spinoff of this one. For characters like Wonder Man. Have you ever said, man, I wish they'd make a Wonder Man movie or a Wonder Man TV show? Nobody's ever said that. If we're going to take the time and the money to make a 7-episode Marvel television show, why not, make one about Ghost Rider? Why not, give the X-Men something? Do something with the popular characters that you have rights to. Not Ghost, not Ted. Well, now give me the real Taskmaster as a villain in something. You'll have my attention. But I'm tired of the spinoffs of spinoffs for characters I don't give a crap about.
Well, I like it when you keep characters in their lane. And that was one of the things that people were talking about with like all the Netflix Marvel stuff. They were just like, yeah, they exist in the MCU, but they're not fighting off the Chitauri in the Battle of New York. That's why you get like in the Netflix stuff anyway, you get passing references to what's happened in the larger MCU. You see like in the Netflix series, you have like the headline from the newspaper about the Battle of New York. They don't even mention like Hulk and Captain America. Jessica Jones is like, don't talk to me, go talk to the big green guy or the flag waver. They don't even mention him by name because they're trying to keep
But at that time there was more limitations on
it. I think that she is a character that if you ground her, she could be a very cool character if you keep her in her lane. I don't think she's anybody that stands a chance against somebody like Sentinel or against any of these bigger villains. For that matter, I don't know that any of the new Avengers are, except for maybe Bucky, because Bucky's been there. I mean, Bucky threw hands with Thanos' army at the end of Endgame.
Like I said, Bucky's been there since World War II. He's been around a lot.
He's been around. But yeah, but like Taskmaster is somebody, she's got like a weird skill set. She can mimic everybody's fighting stance. And for some reason, she didn't know the girl was just going to pull a gun out and shoot her in the head, which, whatever, it's kind of a waste for me, but whatever. I would have done her better. Justice for Taskmaster is all I'm saying, because she's got a backstory. She's connected. We're emotionally connected to her because we thought that she died. We thought that Black Widow blew her up. Turns out she didn't. I feel like that character would have been better to carry on as opposed to Ghost in this movie.
If I really had my druthers, the only member of the Thunderbolts I would have had live through this movie would have been Bucky. I would have killed off the rest of them. Really raise the stakes. We're going into Avengers Doomsday and Secret Wars. Really amp this thing up. Show, hey, we are willing to take characters out. I would have killed the entire Thunderbolts team.
I would have killed maybe one more of them, probably Ghost. I understand why Red Guardian's going to be around. He's great comic relief. David Harbour's a popular actor right now. His fame's going to get bigger again soon because at some point in the next 100 years, we're going to get season 5 of Stranger Things. So whatever, like I said, fucking Lewis Pullman, his star's big time on the rise right now. Bucky's going to be around. Everybody likes the idea of Yelena taking over for Natasha as the Black Widow of the crew. So that's fine. I mean, I would have off Ghost too. I think having her sacrifice herself somehow would have been better. That's just me. But, we talked already about the post-credit scene, and already the post-credit scene was 2 minutes and 54 seconds long, making it the longest by a lot post-credit scene in the MCU.
Yeah.
Wasn't it directed by the Russos as well? I think I read that somewhere.
I think it was. You might be right.
I forget where I read that, but apparently it was filmed like 4 months after the movie was done. They came in and filmed it somewhere else, but just to line up for what's coming, within the next year or so. But I'm not surprised it's one of the longer ones. It was a fine scene. I mean, they had to show off all the new gear for the characters and the whatever. So they're just showing you what's coming.
Yeah, I remember sitting there in the theater watching, and I was just like thinking to myself, "This scene's gonna be ending in a minute, right?" Because it's gone and on and on and on and on, and I just kept watching it, and I was like, "How long is this scene?" And then finally it ends, and I was like, "Holy shit!" I remember looking at Jennifer and saying, "That was a really long post-credit scene." Usually they're like a minute. Some crazy thing happens, and that gives us a tease as to what we're doing. But it's like there's a lot of dialogue. The whole Avengers with a Z, that was kind of stupid funny.
Yeah.
but there was a lot of meat in that post-credit scene. I mean, the tension between the two groups of Avengers, a lot of background into where they're at, not getting intelligence from the government and all that, and then the Fantastic Four stuff at the end. I was like, holy shit, there was a whole lot to chew on in that post-credit scene, way more than we've usually gotten.
It's going to be hard to top post-credit scenes when the one from Deadpool and Wolverine, where we got to see Human Torch Chris Evans talk about lick my cinnamon ring and all that shit. That one was fucking hilarious. That one may be my favorite. But
but it also didn't do anything. It was kind of as pointless of like,
hey, look, I know.
That fucking funny. I'm like, great, that did nothing.
Actually, that one is my favorite funny one, but my favorite one, serious wise, I would still say I think it was at the end of Iron Man 2 where we got to see Thor's hammer for the first time. Where wasn't it Agent Coulson talked about there was an incident in Arizona or
New Mexico,
New Mexico, whatever it was. And we just saw Thor's hammer. I think that one may be my favorite that we've gotten within the MCU. I think it's probably my favorite.
That's fair.
Yeah, I love how the camera pans down and you see his hand laying there, and then rise against the
that one was cool.
Crack. Very well done. Scene. Very well done post-credit scene.
Well,
let's see. I have a picture of Red Guardian right here. The old Soviet parade that Alexei is watching on TV is from May 1st of 1981. That was the Labor Day parade or the May Day parade in Moscow Square. They also inserted a younger Alexei waving next to Prime Minister Brezhnev in the historical footage.
That is cool. It's kind of wild.
Yeah, he's a filthy commie. He hates America.
That's the one thing. Like I said, it's one thing that gets me. He's like so ardent, not even like Russian. He's Soviet Union. It's not like modern day Russia. He's all about Soviet Union.
He's old school. Yeah.
But now
he's dyed in the wool red. Yeah.
But now he's all into the materialism of Western whatever by Avengers with a Z, and we're selling logos on our shirts now and shit. It's like come on, dude. I'm not buying that one. But Baron Zemo, you said it. He's actually the one who puts the Thunderbolts together in the comic. Though Baron Zemo is the leader of the Thunderbolts in the comics, there were absolutely no plans for Daniel Bruhl to reprise his role in this film.
I was wondering. I'm like, we still have him, right? Like, what the hell?
Yeah, he's in that arc thing or whatever. It's the last time I saw him. He was in that prison in the ocean, whatever they call it. I think it's all.
Yeah.
Well, they let him out for Falcon Winter Soldier.
Right, but
so he's loose.
Did he go back?
I thought he went back.
I
don't know.
That show, I've already.
There's too much homework. There's 36 weeks. I don't have the memory capacity to keep an update file on all of this. It's just it's gotten to that point. But Baron Zemo should have been. The Thunderbolts have what made that comic cool was you'd have like Ghost Rider and Red Hulk and Punisher on the Thunderbolts team, not 3 knockoff Captain Americas and a discount Black Widow. So you're taking the stakes away from it. Well, like I said, in the beginning of this, you're taking the Thunderbolts in name only. This is not Thunderbolts. This has nothing to do. You don't name the Thunderbolts after your freaking kid's soccer team. That's the stupidest thing about this movie. God, I hated that.
I'm sitting here looking at this fucking
Right, but it's
bastard.
okay when they fucking do it in Red Dawn. They named it after their football team because that was fucking a smart idea, wasn't it?
Well, that's different. There's not
No, it's
there's not lore that in Red Dawn I can justify it, that's fine. But in this, if you tell me you're making a Thunderbolts movie, I expect, okay, this is my Thunderbolts comic book. This is where it's going to come from. No, we're naming it after a girls' soccer team. Like you're borrowing to. I don't like.
They almost shot that. The director said they almost shot that as like the funny post-credit scene.
What?
The soccer game that she's talking about where the girl shits at midfield.
Oh, where she shits her pants.
I guess
Dude,
the director had said. I guess
That
the
would've
director
been funny.
said that they had thought about shooting that. It was going to be like since it happens like in the 80s, it was going to be like an old school VHS, and it was I guess it was going to be shot from the point of view of Red Guardian of Alexi, and that he was going to be saying he was going to be talking shit and whatever. And he's going to tell the girl, he's like, don't shit on midfield. That would have been kind of funny. I think I got to take it.
They could have had the tape in like in his apartment or something, or in his house, whatever. That could have been kind of fun.
Could have been. I think it was funny. It doesn't really matter when they got the name Thunderbolts because they changed it to Avengers at the end of the movie anyway. So who gives
They're not
a shit?
even
They were just
Thunderbolts.
like-
They're not Avengers. They're nothing. They're whatever.
So it could have been like that fucking episode of Family Guy where Peter's trying to come up with a new name, so he's just looking at random shit. He goes, Peter.
What's that? What's that joke from Whose Line Is It Anyway? Welcome to Whose Line Is It Anyway? The points don't
Everything is made
matter.
up and the points don't matter.
Yeah, there you go. That's basically what
Yeah.
this movie.
Everything's made up and the points don't matter.
Everything's made up of the points. There you go. Yeah,
Yeah.
pretty much like this.
The new Avengers, I just don't like it. I can't get behind it.
Right.
But like I said, the post-credit scene did well for me. It gives me an idea as to what's coming, and that's what I want now. It's Fantastic Four. And that's all I give a shit about. And we're going to get it eventually. I'm looking forward to it. But we're going to go ahead and start to wrap this up there. I need to get to bed because, boy, I am tired as all hell. And I still have one more day of work. It's going to beat my ass before I get a couple days to sleep and finish packing because we're, as you guys can see, all this stuff's coming down. We're getting ready to go to the new place. So there's still plenty of work to be done with that. But I'll get you guys' final thoughts. I'll go to you first, Tex. Give me your final thoughts on Thunderbolts / New Adventures, whatever.
Whatever this movie's called. Yeah, I can't recommend this one. This might be, being the best of the worst is never a good thing. Marvel's been garbage for a long time, and y'all have obviously heard my thoughts on it. I won't retread old ground, but it's another Marvel fodder film that will just get thrown in the pile and whatever. Maybe like 3 out of 10. I'm this one's not good. Skip if there's nothing here. It's fine.
Jeremy, how about you? Give me your final thoughts on Thunderbolts.
It's a fun little stepping stone of getting, I guess, to where we're supposed to be getting to an actual Avengers movie with about 437 characters that are going to be in one movie. Yeah, eventually. Maybe that's the asterisk. And but wait, there's more. Like Billy Mays is going to come out and tell me some shit, or I don't know, sell me a slap chop, or that's Vince. You know what I mean?
Fix Iron Man with some fucking flex tape or something. That'd be great.
Yeah, Phil Swift with a flex tape. Yeah. What's the other? Oh, the ShamWow. Yeah. So I don't know, something. But I mean, it was kind of cool. I enjoyed it. Like, it's Marvel's Suicide Squad, but I mean, now we can just make fun of them for trying to copy DC because
they didn't have that stupid
shut
witch
up
at the end, so they got that going for them.
Well, it was Cara Delevingne.
Actually,
so to be fair,
David Harbour was in Suicide Squad as well. He played a government agent in Suicide Squad. I forgot about that.
To Amanda Waller, yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
there we go.
He's also the voice of Frankenstein in Creature Commandos.
That is true. That is true.
Yeah, he wasn't both, to be fair.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm excited to see where we go with Fantastic Four. We're gonna cross the streams, as it were. So that'll be
never
interesting to
cross the
see.
stream. Yeah.
Right. Well, remember, there's a very slim chance you'll survive. So I love this plan. I love being a part of it. Let's do it.
Go watch Ghostbusters instead of this movie. Way better. You'll like it better, I promise.
Not really fair comparison.
I think this movie's good. It's a step up. Like I said, I didn't need it to be a $1 billion juggernaut. I didn't need it to be perfect the way that a couple of the early Marvel movies are. It just needed to be a progression back towards what the MCU needs to be. Like I said, the MCU's. I even said this after Endgame. I was like, I'm interested in what before some things went wrong and before we got some crappy movies. I even said I'm wondering where the MCU goes from here, because at the end of Endgame, there was no post-credit scene. There was no nothing. It was a clear end to what we had gotten for all those films in several years. I was interested as to what the rebuild was going to look like, because, you know, at the end of the movie, we don't have Captain America anymore. We don't have Tony Stark anymore. We don't really know what the future holds for these people. But we knew there was more coming. We just didn't know what the rebuild was going to look like. The rebuild got off to a rough start because, again, the creative stuff was not on par with where it should have been, not on par with what it was early on in the MCU. But now the creatives are back in control, and I think the storytellers are running things again. I think they're now finally starting to rebuild what will eventually be a better MCU. So that's what I got out of this movie. Yes, it's a transitional film a little bit. It just introduces a couple of characters that we're gonna want to have around later on. I'm fine with that. It's entertaining. It's got the great humor that the MCU has always kind of been awesome at. It's got a couple of characters I really like. It's got a couple of actors I really like. This movie is what it is, and I'm happy for it. I left the theater pretty happy. Again, does it have its holes? Yeah. Does it have a few things? Sure. Every movie does. But this movie really wasn't all that bad. And Rachel said as well. She says she enjoyed this one for originally being uninterested. Well, that's the idea. If you can get somebody who's uninterested in it to watch it and be like, okay, that's pretty good. That's not bad for Marvel, considering that. I mean, Christ, they've been trying for the better part of a decade to get a Blade movie made. And they've just been tripping on their own dicks on this one. We
just got one. It's called Sinners.
To be fair,
to go from what they were for the first three phases to bottom out the way they did, to kind of pick themselves back up off the mat and make a good movie. I'm happy with what I got. I'm interested in Fantastic Four. I want to see it. Still not big on Pedro Pascal being I'm still not big on him as Reed Richards, but whatever. Well, the movie's coming out in a couple of months. I'm confident. I am much more confident now than I was a couple of weeks ago. That's just my thoughts on it all. But thanks to my co-host for being so amazing as always. My head or life mate Jeremy, where can the folks at home find you, my friend?
Here, like whenever. Now that I have control. Because I might have to.
Oh shit!
Because I might have to do that. I mean, to be fair, all these pictures were brought to you by yours truly. So I spent the better part of yesterday finding all these things.
Yes, Jeremy was instrumental in helping me get the stream together today, because I was very busy and I'm working on having a computer, and doing stuff way not like I usually do it is not fun to do. So
right, so you might have to. I had to deal with my annoying ass for a while, so
that's all right.
Maybe
we've gotten used to your annoying ass at this point. I mean, we've had Tex around for how long now? We can handle him. We can handle your annoying ass.
Well, I don't know.
If you can deal with me, you can deal with anybody. You're fine.
Yeah.
And the shit, the Lone Star State, my man Tex. Where can the folks at home find you, my friend?
Well, I contributed nothing to the stream but my charming, self and my wit and my, just some greatness that I bring.
All you do is punch and shoot.
Well, hey, do we all need to have a big group hug, to wrap this movie up so everybody's friends now?
As long as we can do some punching and shooting, I'm okay with that. I'll hug you guys if I get to squeeze off a few rounds. I'll hug you.
But no, this weekend I've already seen one movie. Not starring David Dastmalchian, but he plays a side character in it, Rosario. It's a horror film. It's decent. I wouldn't say rush out and see it. It's maybe like an okay streaming movie, but if you want to support independent horror, go see it. Now, the one I do recommend to really go see is Clown in a Cornfield. Friendo the Clown, he's been doing some viral marketing online. I don't know if you've seen it or not. But that's in theaters this weekend as well. I'll be seeing that tomorrow. I'm really looking forward to it. So, Rosario or Clown in the Cornfield. So, take your pick.
You know, Fight or Flight is coming out this weekend, and I was kind of watching the trailer for that, and I was like, it actually looks kind of good.
I saw that as well. I want to go see that, but I don't know if I'll have time to. That might be one I catch next week or something. But
yeah, and Clown in the Cornfield does look kind of interesting. I might try to sneak out and see a movie this weekend. Again, very.
I'm really looking at Clown in the Cornfield. I don't think it's going to be a terror. Like, he's not like a evil possessed. I've got a theory that Friendo the Clown is multiple people. If you watch the trailer, it kind of hints at that. But y'all know my affliction for killer clowns. It's not like I have them on my walls or anything. So, I'll be checking that out.
Yeah, and I'm trying to think of the next big movie that we're going to be doing. I know that Tuesday, me and Jeremy will be back doing Last of Us episode, whatever the hell, where it's a very weird place that show's in right now. But I'm really excited with where it's going right now. It's been a
so Frank, are you going to be a mom on next Tuesday? Because that's how they work. Are you going to be a mom? Are you going to be a mom on Tuesday, Frank?
I'm going to be a mom. Ellie's going to be a dad. We're all going to be.
No, there you go.
Yeah. I don't know, whatever.
I saw the greatest gifts. Somebody took Ellie and Shrek and like combined them and said, "I'm going to be a dad" in like Shrek language. It was pretty fun. So I enjoyed that.
Whatever. Whatever. I just want to see some good. I just want to see some good cordyceps zombies fighting. I want to see. I want to see Ellie eventually get her revenge. I was actually thinking about it the other day because Jeremy knows more than this. Obviously, I don't know how the second game ends, where Ellie is left. There has not been a third game that has come out. I know they were talking about it.
I don't think there ever will be.
I think they eventually just kind of like said, no, it's not going to happen.
Because they're releasing the next iteration of this game that's being released is just called The Complete Story. I'm like, oh, so we're just fucking off and not doing the okay.
Rachel.
So
Rachel, there you go.
Shirts are number one. Hey, wear shirts.
Number one dad. There you go.
Great way to wear shirts. I love it.
Rachel, Ellie, or simpatico here. There you go. I like the synergy that's going on there.
But yeah, we're going to be back. We're going to be back next week on Tuesday. Me and Jeremy for The Last of Us. I think we're on episode 5 coming up.
Yeah, no, like I said, I can tell you where this game ends, and it's just kind of like I feel like Ellie.
Everybody.
The first game, I was just standing there like, okay. I was like, that was okay. Cut to black.
I don't know if you want to cover it at all, Frank, but season 2 of the Negan and Maggie show for Walking Dead is on AMC Plus. I'm going to start watching that as well. If you want to.
I have watched absolutely no Walking Dead since season 1.
Okay. I'm going to watch it. I'm going to watch it either way. I've had it planned for a while, but
I watched the episode. I watched Rick's last episode because I was curious to see what they were going to do with the end, how they were going to end his character, and I was kind of like, okay, whatever.
I'm only watching because it's Negan. I'll be real honest. That's only.
I would say just watch the one that has Rick and Michonne because it kind of ties that back.
The ones that live,
but yeah, that at least kind of gives you, the closure on
the
Rick
one in New York with Negan and Maggie. It's pretty interesting, and it really dives into the whole why Negan did what he did. Like, they actually explain a lot of that, especially in certain key scenes. So I'm going to be checking that out.
Yeah, I lost. Yeah, I made it most of the way through the first season of Walking Dead, and I was like, I'm not getting it the way other people are getting it. My dad, my brother loved it. I was like,
I loved it.
It was a religion in my house for 5 years.
A religion with a lot of people I know that have watched it. I had so many people. So many people I've known over the years would be like, "How do you not watch Walking Dead?" I'm like, I was like, dude, there are.
Well, it's the same reason that people are like, "Why don't you watch Game of Thrones?" I'm like, because it's fucking stupid. Like, I don't know, I couldn't.
I never got into Game of Thrones.
I never watched a single second of that show.
I didn't either. So
I don't really.
I'll take that back. I saw the Red Wedding where everybody dies, and then I was out. That's all I saw.
I usually, when everybody is like, "Oh my god, the show's so good," I start to get turned off because I'm like, because look, there are 3,000 TV shows on right now. I can't possibly watch them all. There's a lot of them. I'm like, that sounds interesting. I may have to watch. It's like the Paradise that shows on Hulu. I had a bunch of people telling me
no
about
idea what
that,
that
and I had to force myself to sit down and watch that. I had to force myself to make the time. I wanted to because I thought it was an interesting premise, but I'm like, God, if I don't make myself sit down and watch it, this is going to be another one of those shows that just passes me by because I have shit going on. I mean, Monday through Thursday, I'm going pretty much from when I get up at 6 a.m. to when I go to bed about 10 o'clock at night. And Fridays, I
want to watch Breaking Bad as well, so maybe I'll get to that eventually.
I watched the last episode of Breaking Bad. It's the only episode of that show I ever watched.
I think I saw.
You'll open a book and read the last page. What the fuck?
Hey, you know what? I was curious as to how it all was going to end. I was just like, you know what? I don't want to go through all this. I caught up with Sons of Anarchy because I caught an episode of it randomly on TV one day, and I was like, this looks pretty dope. So I actually went back and caught up on the show just in time for the final season to start, so I could watch the final season as they came out. But
was a good one.
I tell people I do like movie stuff on YouTube. They're like, "Have you seen this movie?" And I'm like, "No, I haven't seen that one yet." They're like, "How do you do movies if you haven't seen this movie?" I'm like, "Do you realize how many movies have ever been made?"
I'm like,
I have not seen all.
I haven't seen everything.
I have not seen every movie that's ever been made. I'm trying. I'm working on it. But I mean, there's only so many hours in the day, and I got to spend a few of them sleeping, or I'm gonna lose my fucking mind. So that's the way that goes. I try to watch as much as I can while still watching stuff that makes me feel good. The comfort shows and movies and stuff, but whatever. But we'll be back on Thursday on Tuesday to break down the next episode of almost the Walking Dead.
We're not doing that.
Yeah, we're not doing that. Yeah, you guys can break that shit down episode by episode if you want. That'll only take about 100 years. But yeah, you thought the Saw franchise took you some time to get together.
No,
it'll be on the 6th. It'll be on the 6th Monday of every month. We'll cover 3 episodes.
I was like, if me and Tex did that, Jesus Christ, we'd be here for like another year trying to do all 11 seasons.
Could you imagine trying to cover 11 years of just the squirrel moments that we would go on? We'd never finish. Like that would never complete.
I mean, if you want longevity, on the show. I mean, we could talk about that.
Oh yeah,
probably.
Yeah.
If we run out of content, shit, we could just do that.
But yeah, we will. We will back on.
I've got the box set.
I've got all of them. Yeah, they're all in there.
But we will be back. Jeremy and I will be back on Tuesday. I'm not sure what we're doing on Thursday yet. I'll figure that out over the weekend. But thanks to my amazing co-host for coming in and being awesome. As always, I'll get this up on Rumble eventually. It's just with my computer breaking down, I have to do some stuff kind of half-assed. But we will see you guys on Tuesday. Until then, adios.
See, I don't want to be on a Wheaties box. Put me on like a box of that like Reese's Puff stick. That's a much better sticker.
If Tex ever goes missing, we're going to put his face in a bottle of Jack Daniels. Be like, have you seen this man?
Yeah, he doesn't need a milk cart. He needs a fucking, yeah.
Oh, that'd be great. And do like different, like a collector series and use different pictures. You know, like collect them all. Kind of that.
We'll put the pieces together and we'll figure it out.
And now, folks, it's time to say goodnight. We sincerely appreciate your patronage and hope we've succeeded in bringing you an enjoyable evening of entertainment. Please drive home carefully and come back again soon. Good night.